Ba-ba-ba.
Whoa.
Was it me or did the intro hit harder today?
Yeah, that was loud as fuck,
Yo,
bro. But it was
But
good.
also,
I liked
it
it.
did hit harder. I started to think about, wait, is this a slowed down version or the regular version? And I tuned in. I was like, oh, this is the regular speed version. It's true. I'm so used to that slowed down outro for some reason.
I don't even know what version, because this is the backwards version still, so it's not even the original.
No,
Like,
it sounds backwards, doesn't it?
It is the backwards.
It is the reverse version.
Yeah,
We've been playing the reverse version for like 90 episodes.
Okay.
The forward one hasn't.
But it's not slowed down, whereas the outro is reversed and slowed down.
The outro's not reversed.
The outros
are regular, but slowed
the
down.
The outro is the original.
Didn't you make it, Toby?
I reversed it.
Hold on.
Yeah, I made it. Well, Skinny and I made it, but Doc ended up doing some tweaks to it. Like
I think you reversed it when we started doing pandemic episodes, right?
Yeah. Tenet. I reversed it for the Tenet
episode. Yes.
And you never went back?
And I never went back because all the comments from people were like, "Yo, that intro's fired." And even you guys, the first time you played it backwards, you're just like, "Yo, that shit hits different." And I was just like, "Okay, let's just keep doing this." I'm not mad at it. Like,
funny.
Oh well.
Okay.
I was just like, I'll take full advantage of this situation and use this fun reverse one.
Yeah, and it only took two producers, it only took two producers, not like four.
Snap.
Okay, wait,
we're not jumping into that right now.
No, we're not. I'm just saying.
Before we get to that, I want to say R.I.P. to Michael K. Williams. I want to start with that because, and I was saying to you guys that it is such an unfortunate thing that I can't remember the last time we did an episode and didn't say R.I.P. to someone, and that kind of messed with me because I was just like, man, that's sad. What's going on? Every week it's someone has died, and I know as we get older, the celebrities that we idolized are getting older too, and the people we watched when we were teenagers were already in their late 20s doing these shows. So it makes sense that by the time we reach their age, they're hopefully able to live a little longer, but in some cases, but in this case, 54.
That's messed up.
And that was early.
Yeah, and was found dead, which is super unfortunate. So RIP to Michael K. Williams. I mean, the man did so many things. I think most people will obviously know him as Omar from The Wire. If you guys saw him as Chalky White on Boardwalk Empire, that's one of the character. That was a great role. He also was in Assassin's Creed. So we won't say much.
He did that? Oh no.
He did that, but you know what?
But it's okay.
One of the things is he was one of the only good things in the movie because the movie wasn't good, but he was amazing in it, and that's one of the problems. I feel like he was able to make anything that you gave him. His performance was going to be great. It was always going to be good. It's just that you needed all the other pieces around him to be as good, and unfortunately, they weren't always. And that's what made him one of the most interesting actors to watch because he was able to flow through from mediocre projects to incredible projects, and he was just always on the incredible level. So, R.I.P. That was a sad one, man, to see.
There was a couple other overdoses over the weekend, Labor Day weekend, I guess. Man, Hollywood's full of ads.
Wait, do we know for sure it's overdose? They said he was found dead. I don't know. I didn't see that it was
heroin.
official.
Heroin, yeah.
Yeah,
it was official.
Yeah. First, it's reports from the scene was that.
Oh, okay. In that case, I'm waiting till the autopsy because I don't want to just. Same thing with Whitney. Everyone said Whitney died of an overdose. Whitney didn't die from an overdose. She died because she was in the hot tub too long because she fell asleep in the hot tub and it was too hot. So she didn't die for an overdose. The drugs made her numb to the fact that she was essentially boiling herself.
Jeez.
So, I know that's sad, but I don't like technically you don't say she died of an overdose. She died from complications related to drug use.
Yeah, because he also had like a severe addiction, right? He's relapsed many times. He's spoken openly about it, right? So it might have been that, but I do know that there's a Fed case open, right, to investigate. Same with when Mac Miller died.
Oh,
to investigate like the dealers and stuff and put them behind bars, because I think it was fentanyl as well mixed into the heroin, possibly. Even a couple comedians died over the weekend, right?
Huh.
Oh, really?
Cocaine laced with fentanyl.
They keep posting that picture
of Kate Quigley, this comedian. She was dating Darius Rucker, the country singer.
Yeah.
At one point, her and another guy. It's pretty well known in the comedy scene too. But there was like about 3 or 4 of them. Yeah, and only one person survived or something.
They keep showing pictures of how much fentanyl you need to kill someone, and it's smaller than a penny, like smaller than
has to touch your skin, dude. Like for you to have a reaction to it.
I just don't understand why they're cutting drugs with something that is going like, dude.
It gives you it increases the high, and it's low cost probably for the dealers.
Yeah, but they're obviously not cutting it wet. Like, here's the thing.
Those are the ones you put in jail. They don't.
I'm a businessman. This is another thing that this is a whole other conversation about just business in general. Because the same thing I think about America. I've had this conversation recently with a whole bunch of people. I want to have the most consumers possible, whether it's as a country or as a drug dealer. Wouldn't I want to make sure that what I am selling is the safest version, or at least giving people the option to healthcare, so that they can either live longer as a country or continue to buy from me as a drug dealer? In both cases, I need to try and work out the perfect balance so that I have a recurring revenue. So as a country in America, why would I not want to give healthcare? Because keep giving people healthcare and giving them maternity leave gives us more population. We have more children, we have healthy people, and they continue to buy and consume and buy. And that's the cycle.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know.
And then as a drug dealer, why would I cut it with something that could potentially kill you? I would. The benefit of this cheap thing doesn't outweigh the fact that it kills people.
Mm-hmm.
Heroin already was killing people. Why do I need to add this other element that will potentially kill people? That's the whole.
It's not as good of a high, apparently. Not to make it light,
right.
It's also more addictive, right? Fentanyl.
Again, it's
is that really a thing?
Yeah,
like heroin's not addictive enough.
No, they give people. Don't they give people? No, they give somebody something else to get off of heroin.
Methadone.
Methadone. Yeah.
I don't understand it. I mean, first, I'm not trying to help drug dealers have a better business model. I'm just saying the business model you're using does not make any sense to me, where you're cutting your drugs with something that will kill off your base. What sense does that make? You're going to kill people off. And in this case, again, I don't know for sure. We're still waiting to find out all the details. But if that's the case, this is such a sad thing, because it's like, why?
Because it's cheap, man. At the end of the day, it's a finance thing. They don't care who dies on the streets, dude. There's always going to be more people buying.
Yeah, that's very true.
Man, that's unfortunate.
It's rough.
That's some unfortunate shit.
I don't know how we can segue into this next portion.
I can easily segue.
You know it's not a drug.
No, I was gonna say addiction.
That was good.
What addiction does?
I don't know if that was good or just.
I like Dave's, man. That was kind of bold.
You want to know what's not a drug,
and then you want to know what's the fentanyl to that? It's Donda. No, I'm just joking.
Oh no! God. This is starting out real dark.
You went too
far. So, did you guys like the albums?
Okay, so who wants to go first? Because I have a very specific thing to say. So, okay, Skinny, hit us.
All right. I liked, to be really, really honest and quick about it, CLB is good. It's not like his third album, which makes sense. It shows that he's getting, used to it. He has years on him. The tires are not waning, but they're wearing a bit. He went the safe route. I liked the features. I liked where he placed the features, except for the Jay-Z one. I wouldn't have picked that beat. Shout out to Alex Lustig for producing Into Deep, but still, I feel like a good part of the songs are just minimalistic of just synths and just minor drums and claps. And when they did turn up, it didn't turn up in a way that I was expecting it to turn up. It's very telling when my favorite song of the album is the very first song and the first portion of that song, which is somebody else's completely other song that they sampled. Shout out to you, Masego. So
That sounds
Also,
horrible.
my favorite
I'm just
song
gonna
on
say
the
that out loud.
album is also the second portion of the song where someone else is rapping.
there you go.
The thing is,
Yeah.
in addition to what you've been saying, I think Drake does what Drake does.
Yes.
You know, you're always going to get quotables. You're always going to get these sort of, like I said, quotables, clever lines. The production's always going to be on point.
Mhm.
But he's fallen into the same pattern. He's comfortable. He's coasting right now.
So he's playing it safe. This album was a safe album.
I don't even know if he's playing it safe or this is just the level he's at. He hasn't surpassed that in terms of like I don't know. There was a point where, for example, his production used to differ a lot. He used to have different kinds of producers. He used to take chances on different flows, different songs.
Mhm.
One of my favorite songs to this day is "Worst Behavior."
Oh my gosh, I was gonna say, remember Worst Behavior? Like
That beat, the cadence, the flows, just everything about it. Like that's the Drake I like.
Yeah.
That's why, while we're on the topic, I'm gonna say I prefer Donda way over CLB because there's still an artist out there taking a risk, taking chances with different songs, different sonics, like audibly, different sounds, different flows, bringing different types of artists together and having them rap the best freaking verses of their lives because he could bring that out of an artist. Like I was in on Donda in terms of that. Never mind anything else the critics are saying. I was just in because of that. I love that. But with Drake, I no lie, I didn't finish the album.
Ooh.
I listened to the first 6-7 songs and that was it.
I listened to the entire thing.
There's like 20 out. There's like 20 songs on this album.
Yeah, there's 20 songs. I listened to the entire thing. As Lee J commented before on my Facebook, so shouts to you, Lee J, once you get in here. CLB is driving music, and I did a lot of driving this weekend, so that's where that was, and I was cool with that. Donda, okay, for me, Toby, I hear you what you're saying. Donda had its great moments. I liked it.
But production, man.
Your production is there, and I feel you. But then you got 4 producers on a track that literally has like one synth and nothing else, and I don't understand that. But I'll get to that. The big thing for me in albums,
touch on that too later.
The big thing for me in albums is your intro. Drake's intro was strong. Your intro is strong. I'm riding with you. At least for 10, at least 6 tracks, as Toby said. I'll give you 6 tracks if your intro is strong. Kanye's intro was donda. Like, nigga, what the you really? You made me wait 9 months to a year for this, and you're gonna hit me with donda. I want to hit you.
It was weird. It was.
I want to hit you.
It was weird.
Oh man.
But you kind of just move on.
No, you don't move on because that makes me press next on every other song. If
you didn't skip jail. You didn't skip jail.
I skipped jail. Boy, did I! I came
Wow.
into jail. I'm like, okay, and I just went to the end of it. Like my boy Roosevelt was over. Check it. He's like, yo, check out jail. And I played jail. And I was like, all right, and I just skipped through jail. I skipped through Donda.
Is it okay? I also skipped through CLB, by the way. I didn't listen to the 6 straight tracks, but going back to your comment on synth and having multiple producers on a track that sounds like, but the thing is, they're not as simplistic as you're making it out to be. There is a simple synth sound in the background, and there's always an organ. Every track has an organ.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like that gospel organ, which I think a lot of people also found tiring.
Yes.
Whatever. I can tune those kinds of things out in certain songs, and certain songs deserve to skip because of it.
Toby, you and I could have made them tracks, bro. And we wouldn't have credited you, me, our friend Albert, Johnny from down the block, homie from like you don't need to do that.
That's what I was going to touch on because on that note, I can make a sound and then I have another producer come in the room and it's like, man, but if you like turn up the frequency here,
that doesn't give you a
credit. It makes it sound. Hey, but that's the thing. He doesn't have to give them the credit. What you don't realize is that Kanye is getting these people paid for doing little work. That's all that is.
That's some bullshit.
If I was in his crew and I was a producer and he said, I'm going to give you a point just because you switched a couple of knobs there and there, hell yeah, I'm going to take the credit.
You know what it's like? It's like when there's a guy doing a barbecue and he has all his friends like giving comments as he's barbecuing. He's like giving credit to those guys for taking credit.
Oh, shit.
This motherfucker brought out the cookout as an example.
He did. He'd been around us too long. Oh man.
So my 2 cents. Out of all the works that Kanye has done, and out of all the works that Drake has done, if we were to look at these as starters on a basketball team, Kanye versus Drake, and you put your first 5 out on the court, both of these albums aren't even your 6th man. And that's if I'm gonna wait this long and have this much anticipation for both of these albums, I need a fucking starter. Don't give me below the 6th man. Don't come out here with these albums that aren't even near the LeBron of the team. Like, it is insane to me that we waited this long to get these albums. I listened to them, and most of the time I was just like, okay, got it, skip. Okay, got it, skip. Like, I shouldn't be skipping your songs because I'm like, I get the production, I get everything you're trying to do. And even the songs where you try and switch it up, I'm just like, okay, this isn't too bad, but ultimately this isn't that creative. And that's the problem. I didn't find that they were being creative. Like, there's,
I agree. I agree to that
like
point
you guys
in terms
were saying,
of like both albums not really fully delivering.
Yeah, you guys were saying last time, was it in the group chat that you guys were talking about the fact that they, and you just mentioned it now, but they really stripped down the production. Drums aren't as big a focus on these, and I was just like, yeah, I agree. That was one of the things I noticed, that it's kind of like, cool, I get it. We're trying something new, but it didn't feel like when Kanye did Heartbreak's 808s and was like really pushing for a new sound. And that was just Kanye being Kanye. This feels like Kanye trying to be that Kanye again. And then for Drake,
I see that. And
then for Drake, who I think Drake doesn't believe his own hype anymore. I think it's gone to the point where even he's just like he's like, I like to do the meme thing. I like to be a character. I like the culture behind not just the music production, but the whole culture behind being a personality.
He's literally giving people captions for their Instagram.
Yes.
Pictures.
Yeah.
That's really his job now.
Yeah. And I feel like when it comes to the music production, it's just like, well, I'm going to put out a fun album. People are going to love it because it's me and not necessarily because this is the best I could do.
It's selling on the strength of Drake. That's it.
Yes, exactly.
Drake the man, not Drake the artist.
And again, for me, I need starters. You can't come to me with 6-7 man on.
But also,
I don't want the bench.
Right, but it's also being called an album called Certified Lover Boy. It's gonna be a song, an album with that theme. I imagine if he's believing himself that much, that's the theme he's going for. So you're not gonna get your rippity rapidy Drake. When you do, you get your 7 a.m. songs or your Rumours. Yeah, that's your rapidy rap song.
That's the Drake I like.
Right, and then
but what did we expect from an album called Certified Lover Boy?
Certified Lover Boy, exactly.
That's why I wasn't really looking forward to it.
I mean,
that's pretty much it. I knew from the title that's what we were gonna get, was all these slow songs. The album is slow.
Oh God, yeah. This is in between Views and Take Care. It's in between Views and Take Care.
In terms, I could see that.
Vibe?
Because because Views was very like, not many people liked Views, but that's where he was very R&B-ish and like, he had his like kind of reggae vibe on Views. But then Take Care to me was his slow album where that's when he teamed up with The Weeknd. He was trying to do all croony shit and I didn't care for that stuff. He had maybe 1 or 2 songs that I really, really messed with on Take Care, which was the one where he quoted YOLO. I hate him for that. And the other, the track with Lil Wayne. Either way, long story short, this is what I see is this album is in between Views and Take Care, and I don't think he'll ever get back to his highest point, which was Nothing Was the Same, because I don't know. I don't see him doing
Nothing Was the Same was dope.
So what do these guys do now? You had everyone waiting for these albums, you drop them. They're none of them are getting 10s, get 6s, 5s on 10. I'm not seeing really great reviews for these albums.
Drake gonna come right back.
Singers.
Nah, Drake gonna come right back. Probably with something more like in his, like he'll be like, I took that personally. I had a problem with that. He's gonna do his Jordan thing.
Technically been dropping consistently, like even during the pandemic, he dropped some tapes here and there. Honestly, in one track, Kendrick made me more excited for his album than both the albums that dropped. If you guys
imagine it's all a marketing
Kendrick.
Yeah, I actually have to. Yeah.
Go ahead, Dave. What were you gonna say?
imagine it's a big marketing ploy, and he knows how bad this album's gonna do, and he just has an album already ready. And he's gonna drop in like a year.
You can't pull a Frank Ocean. Only Frank Ocean could pull a Frank Ocean.
What do you mean?
Because Frank Ocean did that. Remember, Frank Ocean released that one to get out of the deal, and then released the other one the next day or whatever, and everyone was just like, "Well, shit."
Dude, Drake released a mixtape that was so good that they put it out as an album. If you're listening to this, it's too late. It was a surprise release.
But I'm saying what he's saying is
he can't Frank Ocean for. I hear you.
Yeah, like he's not gonna release this, take an L, so he can turn around and try and double up.
Like purposely take the
Well,
L?
I mean, hypothetically speaking, he brought
to get out of his deal. He didn't care.
Because it could also be that maybe he does believe his own hype and he wants to reduce that hype because to try and jump that high every time is like eventually impossible.
So Dave just hit us with a crazy theory. Lower the bar so that your next project looks like fire is an insane yet interesting theory.
I see that.
I'm going to quickly respond to Grizz. Grizz, how long did you listen to the Big Timers? I'm not listening to your take on music, my guy. You need to chill the hell out. Boy, I make beats. I know what's up. Don't come at me like that, B.
Oh, is he still hating on me?
Nah, he's playing in the crowd. He's good. He's all right.
It's just funny. I just find it funny when he does because it's just like out of all of us, like my radio station, we set up the interview with Drake in 2006. We've been there since the jump.
Oh,
like like CGLO, like we've done this stuff. So to hear someone complain, being like, "Oh, it's like, no, I spoke."
I would really like to hear his take, though. I want to know. I want to know what Jay Grizz. Which album did you like better?
Let's go.
I know he's over here calling me a Kanye stan still for some reason. Even though I'm like both albums were mad, but if I had to pick one, I'm picking Donda over CLB just because it's giving me. Even though they're both skippable. I didn't play either one of them through. But there are more tracks to me on Donda that are just much more interesting and much more dynamic than what I'm getting from Drake's CLB album. I just know what to expect. You know what to expect. So what?
You bumping Donda in the whip, Toby?
There's some tracks I would like Off the Grid. Oh my god,
Off the Grid is
still to this day. And praise God,
the 3 Stacks verse off the unreleased track.
I didn't hear the whole thing. No.
Oh my god, this is what they need to just. They need to put beef aside and just let that man rap. I mean, that was such a good, that was such a fucking great part. I heard it now, just like, this is insane. And I don't understand why Kanye had to turn around and put insults and disses on the track so that the track couldn't make it to the album. Even better, though, I will say it's funny that Drake played the unreleased track on his radio show.
Yeah,
this is Kanye dissing me with Andre 3 Stacks. Here you go.
That was a weird move, but it
Petty
was
gang,
almost
man.
Genius.
Oh, I mean, guys, end of the day, Universal's making all the money. What did they like?
They're
both like, as much as this seems like, Schweppes versus Canada Dry, guess what? They're both owned by the same company.
They're both in cahoots. Why do I know this? Because what the hell is Boy Wonder doing all half on Kanye's album and you're Drake's boy and you're nowhere on his album?
Yeah. This is
so I feel like this after 2 episodes of hearing about this.
Oh boy.
I feel like I could summate the summation of the review of these albums in 1.5 words.
So
the review of Don
summary
in 1.5 words. Donda versus CLB, fuck them.
Oh,
that's all I'm gonna say.
That's a different take. I mean,
that's what I'm gonna say.
He's entitled to his take.
He's entitled to his take. You're entitled to your take. This guy, wow.
You want clickbait? There's a clickbait.
Ladies and gentlemen,
that's great.
Listen,
members of OVO.
Yo, let 3 Doors Down release an album, Dave.
Let them and shit on them. It's 3 Doors fucking down. Like, if you're gonna take a shot, take a shot.
Avenged Sevenfold release an album. Let me come.
Again, if you're gonna take a shot that matters.
CLB was a little disappointing because I was expecting more R&B. Oh, you were expecting
more R&B?
Okay. Then there already was.
More than 11 songs, my
nigga. Okay. First of all, there's this whole misconception that Kanye. I was about to say that. There's a whole misconception that he's always been talking about Jesus walks.
Yeah, Jesus walks.
I was about to say it's not like he hit it.
Literally his second single.
He's just gotten more into it potentially, but I don't really know why people are judging someone's. Anyway, outside of that,
Look,
yes, there's a lot of it sprinkled across the album, but it shouldn't stop you from listening to the album. You know what I mean? And the fact that you were disappointed that there wasn't a lot of R&B tells me a lot.
I mean, I don't know what to say because I feel like there was a lot of R&B on that album.
These niggas listen to Jagged Edge, right? Like you can't really fucking.
I mean, Drake's form of R&B is it's his own. It's not really R&B, right? So it's easy for you to like miss it because I don't know what does he talk about? It's usually on some like possessiveness.
One of the things that Drake talks about is it sounds like he thinks everyone's out to get him. He sounds hella paranoid sometimes.
He's also a lesbian, apparently.
Oh, that's okay.
That
was just to piss people off. Good for him. Whatever.
A lot of people got mad at that.
No, but for real,
lesbian.
I heard you're a lesbian.
Straight? I don't understand.
Me too.
See, because no diss to actual lesbians, but a lot of girls be saying they're a lesbian and they're not a lesbian.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the point of his comment?
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't, but Skinny's just reading into things because y'all should just read into things and not just go.
Okay, I will say this about the Drake album: the fact that he got an R. Kelly sign like connection on the album was a little weird to me.
That don't help anything. That doesn't help anything.
Like if you have like to have a Aaliyah tattoo on your body and then to have R. Kelly come through with a sample, it's like, homie, that's a little fucked up. Like
I don't know the culture.
This man abused her, right? Like I don't understand what.
I don't know the culture, and I know how bad that is.
Yeah,
I don't know much, and I don't know much history. With the little history I know, that's not a good thing.
Toby, you can see the reasoning. I don't know. I can't, but I mean, I can. I don't know. Toby,
reasoning for what? For
the sampling.
I mean, I could say it like this. I get that R. Kelly's music is still good, whether or not he was a horrible fucking person. So I understand Drake wanting to use it.
I hear you.
I would also say if I talk ad nauseum about being the biggest Aaliyah fan, and I have her tattooed on my body, someone that abused her is not someone I would turn to work with musically in any form.
But Brian, hypothetical scenario. You get presented with a hot beat. You're on one that night. You're feeling good. You record this crazy shit. You're hey. Hold on. Then you're like, oh wait, we gotta clear that sample. Who was that again? He's like, oh, that was R. Kelly. He's like, fuck. And you know you can't catch a vibe again. But that's a track. I don't know what song it was for, so really I can't judge. I'm just saying perhaps it was PS.
Which even more problematic. The song is about like is about sexualizing co-eds, which was another aspect that people are just like, so let's get this straight.
Again, I haven't heard the whole album.
TSU, I think I remember that.
TSU is about sexualizing co-eds and has R. Kelly sample on it, who abused someone that you say you respect. These are the you know.
Did I keep TSU? Hold on, let me see if I kept TSU in the liked songs. If I kept it, that means.
Because this is a conversation that I've been seeing in a lot of places where a lot of people are just like, well, I'm not even gonna fuck with this album because of R. Kelly working on it. And again, I mean, this starts a whole longer conversation that I'm not interested in having right now. Because if he wants to get that sample, I don't like it, but I'm not Drake, and Drake can make his art the way he wants to make his art. I do find it weird though, and I'm allowed to say I find it weird because when I look at the big picture from my perspective, that seems like a weird decision. To be honest, the song also not that good. That's the other problem. Like I understand the example you were giving, Skinny. If the beat is so good, like if this was,
I kind of like the song, but I know what you're saying.
Yeah, it's
catchy. It's catchy, but it ain't that. Yeah,
it's not the next Ignition. You know what I mean? Like when Ignition came out, the whole fucking world stopped and said, "Holy shit!" And we're singing the original and the remix.
Oh yeah, but if it's all right. If it's a sample and it's not a noticeable R. Kelly sample, like you would have to be an R. Kelly stan to know that this is an R. Kelly track.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think a lot of people just got pissed when they saw that R. Kelly credit. Yeah.
Okay, but if you see, like, say they did sample remix to Ignition, then I'm just like, nah, we can't do that because I won't even play Ignition in my house now.
Yeah.
So
I miss that song.
I mean, I won't even get into it because
That was-
that's
like when we talk about
Yeah.
songs to drive to, that shit was fun to drive
I
to.
used to not really like that song too much.
Interesting.
That song would get white people, no offense, white people way too hyped, Dave. And they would start feeling like they were fresh and start doing the whole like roll in that body and start hitting me.
They'd
I
be
didn't
doing
like
this.
that.
They'd
Yeah,
be doing
yeah,
that.
yes. Bounce. That
Yeah, that's what they'd
yes.
be doing.
Yes, Dave. Yes.
And that's when I walk out of the room.
Yes, Dave. Yes. Oh my
Dave's been
God.
there. Dave's been like, oh, I've seen
Woo.
people do this. I know exactly what you're talking
I was a
about.
designated driver for a very long period of time. Yes. Yes.
I'm seeing a lot of people tag Nas's King's Disease 2.
Oh yeah, he won. His
I
album
mean,
was good.
if we want to throw that into the mix, then yes. If we said King's Disease versus Donda versus CLB, King's Disease, because
you're throwing J. Cole
bars
through
go
there.
down, other bars raise.
yeah.
You got to throw in Cole too.
Oh shit. God, man, that's one of the things, man. At
That
some
was
point
all
we're
in the
just-
past week. So
No,
Nas-
2021, just 2021.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay,
he's
okay.
just talking recently.
I think Nas dropped 2 in 2021. The motherfucker.
Did he?
Yeah.
When
Pretty
was?
sure. Yeah. It was King's Disease and King's Disease 2. I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
So,
But
Well,
isn't that
no,
just one
he
album
dropped
that
it
he did
exactly 1 year apart. Sorry,
Oh.
that's why it felt like it was
oh,
the same year. But yeah, August 2020 and then August 2021, which is in it like the only other person. Remember when DMX did it? Like it's not easy to do 2 albums
No.
in the short span. So especially since, but I guess that's one of the things now. The way the charts work, your album. Because who was it that just finally fell off the chart? Someone just fell off the chart recently, and it was a big deal at my work because the song had been on the charts for over like 50 something weeks. It had been on the charts for over a year, and it had been in like the top 10 or some shit like that. And we were just like, God damn! Like that's one of the problems with the way the charts are done now. Things can stay on the chart for a year, like so it's problematic. But we'll see. We'll
hella
see.
problematic.
Boys.
Boy.
I know that Skinny has to bounce out quick. So before you you're not leaving right now, but
No.
What
But,
did
like,
you see recently?
Okay, well, I'm gonna watch What If tonight with the wifey, so I'll come back. But boy, did I watch! Okay, I watched Titans. I'm gonna talk about Titans.
Okay.
I'm gonna talk the last 2 episodes. So the one that was stupid as hell with the whole "this is why he's Jason," why he's Red Hood. That was frivolously dumb. Okay,
Yeah.
But this newer episode with
Black Star and
okay. If that's not the most white privilege shit I've ever seen, hey, I'm bored and I want to honor my daddy, so let's go rob some shit.
yeah. That was crazy. That
was wild. I don't understand why they did that.
And
How
dude,
are you doing that? You're Robin, my G. Like, what are you? Robin's Robin now.
The fact that they Robin's Robin. The fact that they call it out in the show, being like, "Why are you on this Selena kick?" Like, there's a nod to the fact that she's being Selena Kyle. And I was just like, what is happening right now? Like,
I thought it was Selena Kyle. I'm like,
I
oh,
thought
they're
it
going to
was
show us
too.
Catwoman.
Yeah.
No, it's just
Yeah.
Barbara Gordon bored. Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? My dad, I want to honor him. Nobody really pays attention to me. So let's, just rob shit before I become Batgirl. Also, why is everybody superhero reign in the show like 2 years?
Yeah.
So what? 6 years ago, clearly she wasn't at all Batgirl. And
Yeah.
she suggests it. So that means within those 3 years, she was fucking around robbing shit. Then she becomes becomes Batgirl. And then
Yeah.
within 3
Then
years,
Get shot.
'Cause
No,
6 years-
technically within 2 years get shot.
Yeah, because
she's been commissioner for a minute.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. She would have to already be commissioner. So that means she was maybe Batgirl, what,
She would
12, 13 months and then gets shot?
But
It's
also,
weird.
she would have had to have been a cop. You don't get to just be commissioned. Like the way
don't
the
jump the
Times
line.
Universe is writing makes no sense. You don't just come in one day and you're all of a sudden the fucking commissioner. That's not how it works.
But then also they mentioned Oracle.
yes.
So when was she?
So that means she was also. So that means she had to have joined, got shot, been Oracle, all within a 2-year span.
She literally joined within 6 months was Batgirl, did 1 or 2 hits, Joker found her, shot her, and then she was Oracle for the rest of the time. So basically the shortest living Batgirl ever.
Yeah.
It's weird because they tried to do like the inverse of like, because in I think in the Batman animated series and there is a version of this in the comic books, I'm almost 100% sure, is that they're doing the inverse of what she actually did, because what she did is that my dad doesn't respect the fact that I could be a good law enforcement person.
Yes.
He doesn't want me on the law, so I'm gonna be a vigilante, and then she eventually links with Batman.
Okay,
or she does.
Yeah. Do you guys think it's possible? Because now that you're saying that, it makes me think when she was doing the robberies, she's actually technically a cop, and she's doing the robberies with Robin when she's in the academy and he's Robin.
It could be, but then she's
That would make
risking it
more
all.
sense. That would make more sense for the timeline, though, because
So wait,
otherwise the timeline
sorry, I
doesn't
didn't-
make sense.
I didn't see it yet either, by the way. But
Okay.
as I'm
Yeah.
listening to this, it is starting to become clear to me that maybe they messed up the timelines then.
They might,
No,
yeah,
you're
either they
welcome.
messed up the timeline or they're implying that she was a cop when she was doing the robberies.
Yeah,
Because
because
it doesn't make sense that if she
Something was
wasn't a
off.
cop,
But you can't be a cop and be Batgirl though.
exactly. So
I
she,
mean, yeah,
she got caught and then got fired.
It's a job. You can't just like be at your desk.
You're pulling double shifts. You're super tired.
She's like,
Oh my
okay, I'm done, and she picks up her like
Yeah.
burglar bag and puts it on her back. Some of the
Listen.
jewels fall out, and she's like, "Oh,
No.
sorry, my bad."
She
And
works
that's
as a
right.
cop during the day and takes a night shift as Batgirl.
Yo, she leaves.
She's
Bruce,
like-
all right, it's 7 a.m. I gotta go clock in. She was like,
she's like driving with her
When does
partner,
she-
passed out. The partner's just like, "Bitch, wake the fuck up!"
Stop partying, you jerk.
damn,
Oh,
Barbara, why are you
man.
so tired? She still has
Every
the
day.
Batgirl boot on.
Yeah. with the little wing things on the boot.
Oh, God.
Like she still has the mask. Oh, it's like the mask is like smeared
The
like half
domino
on her
mask?
face.
Oh,
Like
shit.
you know.
That is
Oh
great.
man.
Yeah,
Oh.
Titans isn't.
They lost
Titans
it.
has
They
stopped
lost it.
trying.
They had it.
No,
They
they
had
were,
it.
they were
Okay,
on the
okay.
tracks. They were Snowpiercer just banging through the ice caps.
Yo, Toby, you're
And
gonna
then-
laugh. There's a point where Beast Boy tries to get mad at Dick and gets all like, "What are you fucking doing, Dick?" He's like, "Bullshit, Grayson." And Grayson's like, "Excuse me, man?" Like he literally is like, "What?" Like after being shot in the shoulder, he just looks at Beast Boy like who's half tiger face. He's just like,
Yeah.
"The fuck did you just say to me?" He's like, "Go take a minute, take a
Yeah,
fucking
yeah,
go, just leave." So
But
funny.
there was this episode, although I agree the timeline was off, it was much better than the last episode.
Yeah,
Did
but
they,
anything would
did
be
they
better than
ignore?
that.
Did
Because
they,
like that was a dumpster fire the last episode. I'm sorry.
I didn't
So
finish
like
last
again,
episode.
it's like
just-
it's
it
like my
just
theory
very-
of it's my theory of Drake. You make a bad episode. Not every episode.
No,
I
better.
was actually gonna ask how the last one ended since I didn't see it. I don't think I will finish it.
You mean
You
the
I'll
Did
say
they? So
this.
there's no more Red Hood.
No,
you know what?
you
oh no, he's there. It's
At this
bad.
point, just wait till the season's done and binge it. Don't
Yeah.
watch week to week, because that's I regret watching week to week now. I wish I would have watched it and in one sitting, because it's a roller coaster of episodes. One is somewhat good, the next one's bad. This one doesn't make sense. This one
This girl
and-
had a wheelchair fight, and then
No,
she has a wheelchair fight, and like Batgirl, okay, Assassin comes up
Oh
to her.
yeah,
she
that
has a
wasn't
sword.
believable. At all.
She has a wheelchair fight with these batons that are at the side of her wheelchair, and then does a spin, and then pulls out a gun and doesn't shoot the bitch.
yeah.
What are you like? Why are you pointing? Shoot the
Hey,
girl.
You know what? Here's one that I wanna point out to people. Remember where they saved the girl with the bomb in her chest?
And they just left her.
And they just leave her. They just walk away.
Yo, man, they gave her a cell phone. It's all good.
Dude, I was watching that scene and I was just like, wait, did they just save her? And then you just show them walking away. And I'm like, I don't understand. Did you guys just leave this potentially dying woman with traumatic chest injuries that had a bomb plugged into her chest on a bed?
No, but it's
As you
Superboy,
disarmed
right?
the
So he
bomb?
just like ran her to the nearest hospital and then came back, and they just
That
happened
is-
to leave out that same door.
But
Sure.
see, if you would have done a thing where
Exactly.
Starfire was walking back and he caught up with her doing that, that would have been passable. Because then that would have been like unexplained that he did that. That would
Instead,
be
they
fine.
literally show him and her
Yeah,
walking out,
out.
of the building, leaving the girl behind that they were just speaking with.
Cool guys don't look at explosions.
God damn.
I would have just loved if the door opened
away.
and she's like there behind them, like, guys, what? What do I do now?
And that, with that being said, but Titans, don't watch that shit. Watch it and binge it, and then decide for yourselves. I
Why
don't
did
know.
they do this to us?
It started
man?
out so
Hey, that's-
strong, and then after them 3 episodes,
Yo,
just went.
It's just been too bad. This
We need
been
Young
two bad
Justice back. We need
episodes.
some Young
This been
Justice
two
out
bad-
here.
This has been too bad.
I mean, no. Okay. I mean, I'm like I said, This is one of those ones where I'm telling people full on, just wait to binge it.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, Skinny, you said you're out.
Yeah, I'll see y'all next week.
Yeah, man.
Yes, sir.
But yeah,
Always appreciate you coming through.
I'll be back
Dad.
full time soon. Just for now.
Oh, we get it, man. Hey, dude, you're a father right now. We get it. You just a newborn. Like you don't gotta explain to the crew. We respect and appreciate you, man. Thank you for coming through.
I was gonna pull this up later, Skinny.
Hold on, guys.
Peace, homie. We got another guest here to come in and talk Shang-Chi with us in a sec. Yes,
it isn't terrible.
No,
this season has been though.
This season started off really hot, and then the last 2 episodes are just like whatever momentum they started with, they've just found a way to they went completely off the rails. But it's unexplainable how it got there. Actually,
I think the bad idea of how they told Red Hood really deflated a lot of the momentum.
That was
it's one of those things that if I would have been happy. Don't even say anything this season. Wait till next season. And if it was important, then say the past. I find
I'd rather
some of these past episodes aren't good. Have you noticed that all the past episodes are the ones that lack?
Also, don't give us Red Hood this season. You didn't need to.
It was not necessary.
Get rid of Jason Todd for 1 season. Raven hasn't been in an episode so far, and she's one of the official members. Meanwhile, you have Jason Todd, who's not an official member.
Why didn't they continue down the Cadmus path?
Yo, so many things I don't understand with the decisions. I get if you guys wanted to, you already did the Deathstroke and Jason pseudo story where he got affected, almost died. You could have done something there. Instead, you decide to go full actual Joker beats him to death type story, but then you're changing it, and it's like, what are you guys doing?
Joker beats him to death by sneaking up on him while he's high?
Yeah, come on, man.
Well, I'm sorry. If the one problem with doing the Red Hood story in general, you could potentially do the Red Hood story without Batman being on the screen, but you cannot do a Red Hood story without having some Joker screen time more than what it was. Period.
Yeah,
because that was not it.
Yeah,
that Joker screen time was not it at all.
No, but that's the point. It's because they couldn't do Joker screen time that they had to reinvent it. And the thing is, when you have a character that was
told it last season with Deathstroke, just do that run.
Yeah,
they already did it. They already set it up. I don't get it.
They
fucking crazy.
They pretty much do exactly that though, right? It wasn't. They didn't need the Joker.
No, they don't
at all.
They should have never introduced the Joker. They shouldn't have introduced the side story where he kills Bruce Wayne.
I just realized he went through the Deathstroke thing and then this.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I thought the Deathstroke thing was going to be it.
Dude, it's bad. Anyways, Shang-Chi, man. Listen, you guys ready? You guys ready to talk this?
Let's do it.
Are we ready? Okay, we're going to bring in our guests. You guys know him from Urban Science. You know him as the band leader. You know him as a representative of this city on all fronts. Vincent Stephen Ong, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello.
Oh, shit. You can see the edges of my blue screen. Oh, it's just to block off the horrible mess in my apartment. But are you guys telling me that the Fuck Batman show is not good? Is that really? What?
It had its moments, right?
You know what though? I'm happy he mentioned it because we got the origin of the Fuck Batman because Barbara's the one that says it first to Robin that she starts planting the seed of fuck Batman.
Planting the seeds. Oh my god. Anyway,
it was bad, man.
I mean, I think the number of good comic book shows. I was gonna say you can count on one hand. I'm like, I don't know if you can even. I
well,
think
it depends. Are you saying animated or not animated?
No,
animated. There's plenty.
That's true.
Yeah, I think
I haven't watched the animated stuff, but I've heard there's a lot of good stuff there. Fair enough. And I guess if you want kitsch and you want the old school Batman, Adam West Batman and stuff, that has its own appeal,
But even being said, I won't lie. I recently got the collection and been rewatching it, so I watched a season and a half of it. It's the exact same episode over and over and over and over again. I'm sorry, to a T.
Yeah.
So after the first 20 episodes, you're like, I fall asleep a lot now. I'm trying to finish that. I'm not gonna lie.
That's
I did. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say that's almost all show. If you watch House, I'll tell you right now, watch an episode of House, and when he has his epiphany moment, it's between 36 and 39. minutes into the episode. Every single episode, he has the epiphany between 30. There's a 3-minute window where he has the epiphany. If there was a supercut,
you got the 4 commercial breaks, right?
Right,
Like
exactly.
The 4 segments. So you get 2 of the segments, and then the da-da-da,
the big reveal,
and then the wrap up.
Yeah,
exactly.
And that's the thing. So, anyways, go Vince, hit us.
I was just gonna say I'd never seen Star Trek the original series until pandemic. Actually, that was one of the things that I watched during pandemic. I was like, let's catch up on this thing. And yeah, there's like 5 good episodes or something. I don't know. Like, and it's so much, it's all the same. It's all, and like people always say, like, oh, Kirk is a womanizer or whatever. Everyone on the show is a womanizer.
Oh yeah,
I was about to say it's the 60s, man. Like,
it's a different, it's the era, So whatever.
39 episodes only, and it managed to launch a whole crazy thing. Oh, funny enough, I was just talking to someone about this. Shout out to Lucille Ball. The only reason we have Star Trek. Lucille Ball's studio is the one that, she's the one that, her studio is the one that went ahead and produced it. So Lucille Ball of I Love Lucy is the reason we have Star Trek. That's and Gene Roddenberry got to create everything you see Star Trek, you owe to Lucille Ball. So you better thank that little redhead next time.
So she brought something else to the world other than stereotypes. Okay.
I mean, hey, yeah. She's I mean, if anything, I think she broke the stereotypes though. She was a pregnant woman on TV in the late 50s, early 60s. They hadn't even done that before. She couldn't reference the fact that she was pregnant. Like, she did set the tone for a lot of new things in television, and then also was a powerful woman in Hollywood that a lot of people probably didn't want to fuck with. So shout outs to her, man. Like,
I'll give that. I'll give that.
I weirdly really like Lucille Ball. I had this is an exact conversation with the other day. They're just like, why do you care so much? I'm just like, because you like, when you realize the things that she was doing behind the scenes on top of what she did on camera, you're just like, oh, she was setting tones and setting benchmarks for people.
Looks like we're gonna see a Netflix series on Lucille Ball.
Oh, easily. I'm amazed they haven't made one yet.
To be honest,
all these documentaries that are coming out, they've realized people just love those things, man.
Oh yeah.
It's crazy. Those true murder, true crime stories. Anyway,
and you don't even have to do. What network was it that used to do the like they did the fake Saved by the Bell the unapproved story of Saved by the Bell, Is it Lifetime that does them?
I think it is Lifetime. It might be Lifetime.
Where they do all these like unsanctioned stories behind the scenes of all this stuff, and that's a normal thing to do now. Though you can just do those. Like, you don't have to be Lifetime. You could be Netflix and run one of those and still make money off of it.
Yes, sir.
Shang, speaking of creating content, creating something wonderful. At least I think 3 out of 4 of us think it's wonderful, because someone messaged me and was just like, I got shit to say.
Oh,
that wasn't me, right? I wanted to hear this.
So I saw Shang-Chi in theaters this weekend.
Shang-Chi.
Sorry, yes, true, because it's Sean, so it's Shang-Chi and the 10 Rings. And first off, I want to say, I liked Awkwafina. I know a lot of people shit on Awkwafina.
I loved Awkwafina in this.
I've never seen so many people get mad at a character and be like, you could have written her out of the story. I'm like,
I think people just wanted to hate. This one is a clear case of just wanting to hate for the hell of it. There's no reason. All her lines are fit.
Yeah.
No matter what people were saying, I was like, no, that's wrong. That's wrong. That's wrong. Like, they fit. She was the right amount of comedic tone and seriousness. She wasn't overboard. The arrow shot was lucky, but it made sense. She just learned how to shoot an arrow. So she just took an arrow, aimed at the person said, if you aim at nothing, you hit nothing. So she aimed at something and she hit something. You know what I mean?
Like, the target was the size of the Empire State Building flying overhead. Exactly. I feel like she was going to hit something, like
she did. There was no like crazy, she just learned martial arts moment or none of that stuff. She was actually, for such a big role, she was kind of in the background a little bit.
She's the character the whole time that I was just like, you're gonna die. You
have
no chance of surviving this situation. You're not one of the people of this mythical city. You're not one of the heroes. You're the sidekick. There's a good chance you might die. And the fact that she doesn't, I was just like, okay, cool. She felt like a Coulson character almost, and I was happy that she wasn't a Coulson in the end.
No, she wasn't a Coulson. She also wasn't what's his name in Ant-Man? Mexican dude.
Oh,
Pena.
Pena's real name.
Yeah, but what was his character?
Michael
Anyway,
Pena.
she wasn't that character. She was
No,
her
yeah.
own. She wasn't like a caricature of different characters we've
Yes,
seen.
yeah,
It was like
yeah,
her
good
own
point.
thing, right?
Well, what are they saying negative about her?
A lot of people said that if you took her out of the movie, you'd still have the same movie, as in she's not an important character. Some people were saying that she wasn't an interesting aspect of the like her relationship with Shang wasn't interesting. Like it could have been anyone. They said her acting was weak, which I
No, that's not true.
And
that's not true.
And some people were saying that she was awkward a lot of the time, but anytime she was awkward, I would think it's intentional, because guess what, guys? She's driving a bus while people are trying to kill people, and and she's like, it would be uncomfortable to do that. I think I would look a little awkward and uncomfortable.
Her reactions, her everything to me hit.
Yeah,
I honestly I don't get this one. This one like blows my mind. I don't.
Are you telling me that a bunch of comic book nerds have a problem with a strong female character?
You know what?
That's a mind blowing.
It's crazy, right?
But they didn't hate the sister, which is what I was like.
Whatever.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I just find it weird where the nerds get mad.
Right.
It seems so random sometimes.
So random. Very.
Like, why are you mad at Awkwafina, who I would say in comedy and nerd culture has done well by us? I know some people are upset about her, like, quote unquote, black scent. That's a whole different.
She barely, come on.
But if you want to discuss her black scent, if you're angry at her for black scent and then turn to this movie and hate on her, then you're not hating on her because of this performance. You're hating on her because you didn't like her before. And then you have that luggage, you have that baggage going into the movie. At least acknowledge that. That's my thing. Because a lot of I imagine, Toby, you saw this in a lot of our like black nerd group chat, like Facebook pages and stuff.
Yep.
Because that's where I was seeing it. I actually don't know how the white nerds feel about her, to be honest. So now that I think about it,
have you guys seen the show Nora from Queens?
I saw the pilot. I didn't watch more.
I didn't watch the show.
Only because I watch so many shows. I do want to watch it though, because I like her.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I like the pilot.
Well, I guess maybe that's also. I mean, I haven't said what I thought of Shang-Chi yet, but Nora from Queens is a really great, view into the Asian experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And one thing I'll say about her role in Shang-Chi is that she does take the role of the Asian American that does not speak the language that she's from, right? And there's a character that makes fun of her for that, and and I thought that was great that they had that. That wasn't just like you're either like Chinese speaking or you're not Asian or whatever. You're not Chinese.
Many kids from different cultural backgrounds like that, right? That grew up in either America or Canada that don't speak their parents' language, understand it perfectly, but they don't speak it, right? Just like her. So
true. She understood. That is a valid point. She had the ability to understand, but she didn't speak. Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah. So anyway, I was just kind of curious because I can see issues with I mean, I didn't think her performance was great in the movie, but mostly because I've been watching this Nora from Queens show and she's amazing. And the writing is like really like it's good writing. It's good. Like everything about it is a great show. So seeing her in this is kind of I don't know. I guess it's
I don't think she can outshine the main character in that way though, right? Too. They probably did maybe tell her tone it down a bit or keep it a bit more reserved, right? Maybe. I don't know what they're going, I don't know.
Is the best actor on earth, and he brought his
you know what? He was pretty charismatic as Shang-Chi. I liked his
I was gonna say
Vincent, you want to tell us
by more
sorry. Finish off.
No, I was gonna say I'm curious. I was curious what Vince had to say. I was curious.
Well, outside looking in. Did you guys all like the movie, or what? Do you want to go around and do like I don't know how this works.
I'll give my impression. I went to the movie VIP, passport up, sitting in my chair, drinking my VIP peach, little alcohol at noon on a Sunday, chilling, or Saturday. Movie starts. I'm just like, okay, we're setting some tones here. Good action, good story. The flow was solid. San Francisco. I had my fingers crossed the whole time that we'd get some Ant-Man action, a little peek, a little cameo appearance, got myself all psyched up. didn't happen, but that's fine. That's fine. I mean, there's a lot going on, and you didn't really need him.
I mean, you got Zach Cherry's character though.
Yeah.
It's from Spider-Man, the guy that said, "Hey, Spider-Man, do a flip."
Oh, right. Yes. Right. That's true.
Somehow he goes from the East Coast, he's on the West Coast now.
He's on
But the thing is, we don't know if it's the same character too, right?
So he sold his hot dog stand and he bought a ticket. That's what he did,
A one-way ticket to live on the streets because it's super expensive out there too.
True.
That's crazy.
But yeah, so I mean, I thought the acting was really good. I think one of my favorite characters was the sister, Jia Ling. When you meet her and she's just like running things, badass boss.
She never needed anyone.
No,
like she realized she was abandoned, and just
and by the way, folks, there's a good chance we're going to go into spoilers. So just a warning right now, if you're listening to this, spoilers. I'll probably put up the spoiler warning as I go to Toby. Toby, you want to hit us with what your opinion was?
Opinion of
this wonderful movie. I say wonderful because that's my opinion.
Okay. Starting from the beginning, I think they did a great job of like skimming over the origin of the legend of the 10 rings and how he procured it and what he did with it and who he is in terms of Tony Leung's character.
Yeah.
The person he's not even the Mandarin, right? It was Wenwu.
Yeah.
They explained the fact that he never called himself the Mandarin. It was just this crazy actor who, spoiler alert, biggest surprise for me was Ben Kingsley as Slattery, Timothy Slattery, something. Slattery.
I thought he was going to get killed.
I thought so too. So we all know that whole All Hail the Kings clip that came out after Iron Man 3, where they explained that the Mandarin, whoever the real Mandarin was at the time, kidnapped him from jail and brought him over to wherever he was, which ends up being Ta Lo. Shout out to Ta Lo being in a random pocket dimension. So that means Kunlun exists in this universe, by the way.
Oh, yeah. I was telling one of my friends that.
So, yeah, anyway, his whole origin story was dope. The rings, I get. It took me a minute. I was like, this is it? That's it? Like, that's all the rings do is the energy pulse and all these things. But I realize it's in who uses it.
Yeah.
Right? It comes down to like the person, and if you we noticed at the end, like Shang-Chi ends up like sort of being one with the rings, and you can see that he can manipulate them in a different way and channel the energy a little bit better, whereas his dad was using it more like as a whip and a blaster cannon, and it was just very, very anger, rage driven usage versus like, you know, that whole Zen. I thought that was cool too, him learning the Tai Chi art form from his mom.
Quick nod to the mom though, when the mom and Tony are fighting and that motherfucker was falling in love with every spin. Yeah, like I was dying in the theater because it was so beautiful seeing like
the eye contact as they're going by each other.
The cherry blossom in the back. I was just like, this is hilarious how this is
my Wing Chun versus your Tai Chi. Your Tai Chi wins.
So good.
He kind of lets does he let her win or does she actually win?
Ooh, interesting. Right? I think she kicked his ass.
I was about to say, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure the guy was tamed both with his heart and on the battlefield.
Yeah,
they got
so tamed that he put his 10 rings away, decided to actually live because, as you know, the rings gave him immortality pretty much.
Yeah,
he'd lived for centuries at this point when he met her. So he put his rings away and he starts to age. Right. Fast forward, we learn the mother dies. And how the dad, I guess, turns on his kids because she died. That one was
on the kids as much as the anger made him want to make sure they could protect themselves. I don't think it was
right.
I mean,
I guess
okay,
wait. The rival gang coming in.
I'll say this though, for the daughter, maybe it was a little bit of turning on her because she does say he didn't really look at me the same because he said I always reminded her, reminded him of her. So I get that at point, but for the son, it was very much like the fact that he takes him to get to settle the debt that is, blood for blood, and then just does that.
It makes sense that he does that though too, right? Because he knows his son was there and his son didn't do anything. But I'm like, what do you want him to do? He's like 7. You expect him to go out there and take on 50 guys that just came to beat up on your wife?
7-year-olds who are being taught martial arts by their mom in the backyard, not the kid you would send to fight 50 goons.
He was a little much. He was a little much with that for sure.
Yeah.
But man, it was incredible as a Mandarin or Wenwu. I gotta stop calling him that.
Dave, hit us. What did you think, man?
Yeah.
I would say this. I went in first off with no expectations whatsoever. I don't know anything about the character.
Oh wow, okay.
And I was there. I'm like, this is interesting because this is the first time I'm going to a Marvel movie like blank. Like it's as if I'm not a comic book fan. You know what I mean?
That's fun. Yeah.
So when I went in, I was like, okay, the bar was excessively low because there was no bar to place. I thought the pacing was amazing. I dare compare it to Free Guy in the sense that you always had something going to keep me going with the film. Regardless if you slowed down the tempo or not, my attention span was always there. Yeah. Which was really good. I thought the action, especially before they got to the action sequences with like in the magical realm were all cool and stuff because like, you know, you have all the magic going on and they're using powers. But like the whole fight, like after their he gets with this he tries to fight the sister in the octagon or whatever that is, and then that whole fight sequence afterwards and getting out of the building, I was like genuinely like my jaw like hit the floor. I was like, that was amazing. Yeah, visually at least, because I was also like, I'm like, if they used a lot of CGI, it didn't show to me. Like there was obviously some moments where you're like, okay, obviously that was CGI because no one could physically do that, but like most of them were really good. I love there was one scene where he went for like a punch, and I forget if it was against his sister or if it was against his dad, but he went for like a Superman punch, and then like the other person also went for a kick, but the person with the kick connected with him. I think it was when he was fighting his sister. I was like, wow, that's like super attention to detail. I thought the whole.
By the way, side note, that fight you were talking about when they were fighting on the scaffolding on the side of the building and stuff like that.
Yeah,
all that stuff was choreographed by Jackie Chan's. Someone who used to stunt stunt work for Jackie Chan. That whole
that actually makes sense.
Humor kind of fighting through the scaffolding and stuff like that.
I was gonna say it reminded me of the Bronx.
Yeah,
because there's a scene in the Bronx where he's doing a fight on top. I'm like, this is like that. This is amazing.
Rumble in the Bronx, right?
Rumble in the Bronx, yeah.
And if you notice at the end, if you stay till the end anyway, R.I.P. Brad Allen, that was him.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So he died before the movie came out.
Right. So I was very impressed with that. The only thing I was like kind of like lack of I liked also the whole Mandarin thing. I just was like, I was actually, no offense to Ben Kingsley, he's a great actor, but I was actually hoping they were going to kill that character. Like I hope you were going to see the wrath a bit more. The fact that he was like a jester, I was like, whatever. A king has to be a king though, right? A king has to be a king. So I was like, okay with that. The guy who played the Mandarin in the whole sequence was good. I was disappointed because the whole movie, I was like, there's supposed to be rings, like sorry, not disappointed. Like, I don't know if the word deceived or what. I'm not sure what word to say, but I was like, I guess I was discombobulated with the fact that, like, in my head, it's like the Mandarin has 10 rings. His rings are in his hands. They control more than what they do. But then, as Toby was pointing out, at the end, when Shang-Chi is doing his version of it, you actually see the rings kind of change a little bit in size, and he's able to do more.
Yeah.
So in my head, I'm like, oh, it's really simple. This is the first movie, so why would you show all the power that the rings can do in the first movie? Probably the next movies, or maybe even the whole next story arc, the rings might become really important with what they can do.
As we learn in the mid-credit scene, because of how well he uses it to the way they're supposed to be used, it sends a beacon out to whoever created it, maybe.
Which, did anyone get that? Does anyone know what that has any reference to?
Nah.
Because, like, you know,
I mean, there's a bunch of guesses. Like they've shown us that monsters and creatures can come through these portals. So we're probably gonna start getting some kaijus up in Marvel World soon. That's probably Shuma Gorath. They've showed them so many times.
Right.
One of the things I like about it though is the fact that because Tony used the rings like a kid who just was given a hammer and doesn't know what he's doing with it. You know, like he's just kind of like waving. Yeah, he's just waving it around and then Shang comes in and is just like precision. And you could see, and even the mom could affect them, because when he throws them at her and she does that thing where she pulls it in, controls the power, and hits him that time when she knocks him into the water, that was just to show this is someone who actually knows what they're doing with the power and the energy from these rings. And what you're doing with it is, by all means, you could use a hammer and smash all the walls in the world, but you're not actually using it properly to build. And that's I think that's
the director is a big Dragon Ball Z fan, so that's why you'll notice a bunch of scenes where
Oh
it
my
looks
God.
like he's throwing a
Yeah.
Kamehameha or stuff like
Yeah.
that. That's why.
A good few. The whole thing where the rings are in the belly of the beast and he's like falling down and it's like spinning, and I was like, okay, we get it. Please don't make this an episode of Dragon Ball where it's like just the power up for 30 minutes. I was like, nah, dude,
it was a tad long. I won't lie. That scene was a tad long.
2 hours and 17 minutes. 2 minutes could have been dropped right there, buddy. That's easily, you could have cut a few things. There's a few little things you could have just trimmed a few times that would have made it better. Vince, you sat quietly, you absorbed everything.
What did you say?
I was saying you absorbed all our opinions.
Absolutely. I was, the rings on the mid-credit scene. I am very, I would say one thing that's interesting about these, like whether you like the Marvel movies or not, or whatever, you have to say that this whole previous build-up to Infinity War and Endgame was just mind-blowing. Like that they actually achieved that, and it's kind of changed, what's possible and what people are trying to do, in terms of these big franchise movies and all this kind of thing. And so I think with this next I don't even want to say phase, because it could be multi-phase, who knows, right? With this next sequence, that they're being particularly cagey about what is coming. Because I don't think any of the nerds have any clue what those rings are about, right? I mean, it was something completely different in the comics.
That was actually unexpected.
Yeah, very unexpected, and I think that when we saw, I don't know, Age of Ultron or whatever, it kind of went more or less like how we thought it was going to go. It's not like some big surprise in there, but then this one, we're like, what? The rings sent a beacon to what? To who? What?
Can I say a theory?
Sure. Yeah.
If the next movie is the Eternals, I'm thinking that the rings, because they're so old, might have been something that the Eternals brought over, which is why I expected a mid-credit scene to have a nod to the Eternals.
Right.
Oh, so then what? The beacon is awakening a celestial of some sort?
That's what I was thinking. That's my theory.
Right.
Wait a second. Okay, hold on. Whoa. Okay.
What
because the Eternals is the next movie.
No, here's the thing. This movie falls, we know, after the blip.
Yes.
In the Chinese New Year, you actually look this up. It's like 2014 or something like that. April 2014, which is a year after the blip.
Okay.
Eternals also takes place after the blip.
Yeah.
So is it possible Shang-Chi is actually just before, and it's the events of that triggers the Eternals?
But the Eternals is over decades. They come before.
Yeah,
you
but
see that in
watch the trailer. But if you watch the trailer, there's actually reference to
the blip
in Eternals as well.
I mean, the trailer implies that the blip is what causes the Celestials to come back, but it could be the rings, it could be something else, it could, who knows.
The only reason I toss that theory out is because because like you said, the nerds don't know what's going on, and trying to pull all the little pieces of knowledge that we have as nerds and trying to see the timeline that they're building. If I want it to still all be connected, I'm hoping that they would have a nod to the Eternals. They don't have to. I could be completely wrong, but it's just the idea that the rings are that old. Like, it sounds like Tony got, the Mandarin, or what's his real name? Sorry, Wenwu.
Yeah.
If Wenwu got those thousands of years ago, and but it's sometime after the Eternals arrived, because in the trailer we see that the Eternals said we've been here for thousands of years and we've blah 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 blah. So if Wenwu got these some point after that and was just running around, and they were just like, well, we're not supposed to get involved, so we're just gonna watch this dude run around with these rings and do what he's doing. As long as the rings don't summon a danger, then that is something we need to get involved with. We'll just chill on the sidelines.
Right.
Sorry, Vin.
No, it's so good. I kind of think that line I mean, obviously they needed to have something in Eternals to explain why they haven't been around.
Yeah.
But it was kind of like it's kind of like it was all a dream or whatever. It's just like, really, you just made a pact not to come on.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, half the universe gets wiped out and you're like, we can't do anything. Like, come on. I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe it'll be
we
better.
actually,
We'll see. You know?
we talked about the fact that Thanos himself was half Eternal, right? Or sorry,
Well,
half
Or
deviant,
what is it?
Deviant,
Sorry?
yeah, exactly.
Deviant. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe
So-
in the movies he won't be. Like, who knows, right?
Yeah.
So, but then it's like, well, he's only half, so we didn't interfere because it's like,
Yeah,
come on.
yeah.
At what point does this not make any sense?
He's mixed,
but
guys. You know how those mixed kids are. Just leave them be.
that's the tie-in with anyway. But yeah, in terms of the movie, I mean, there's stuff I liked about it for sure. Okay, so overall, I wasn't thrilled with the movie, but I think a big part of it has to do with comic book movie fatigue, and yeah, and also just like I saw Black Widow, and why the fuck does Black Widow end with a giant flying air fortress? She's the Bourne identity. She's like, it would have been a better movie.
Oh,
if
yeah.
it was just like Bourne or Mission Impossible or whatever, just like kicking ass and doing stuff. You know,
Yeah,
there's
I
no
agree.
reason for a giant airship. And then like Shang-Chi, I guess maybe I also had expectations or whatever, and I was like, oh, wouldn't it be great to get like a Jackie Chan style or whatever kung fu movie
Yeah.
in the MCU, and he's just doing like relatively low level but cool kung fu shit. What
Yeah,
if
And it started out
you know,
that
that-
way, right?
Yeah, the
And
first half of the movie
sort of-
was that, I find.
Yeah.
yeah, like imagine when they go to I forget what it is, the sister's place with all the fighters in there.
In
Yeah.
Macau.
Imagine if that was like 40 minutes of the movie. Like
I
he's
was-
fighting
okay.
different people and going, and then maybe it'd be too much like Thor Ragnarok or something. But you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
but-
it could have been a really interesting.
I
thing.
agree with
like
you.
a gauntlet of some sort.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was actually hoping it
Yeah.
would, because if you're going to show us in the trailer that Abomination and Wong are together, and then
Yeah,
they
but
just
then the
walk
explanation
out.
for that.
Which was weird, by the way. Why is
Yeah, they
Wong
just walk
teaching
out,
Abomination how to fight? Can we
Is
address that for a second?
Yeah, I actually was annoyed.
It probably has to do with Val and the team that she's building.
With Val.
Oh God!
Yeah, but why would
Valentina
Wong
from-
be helping her out?
Well, remember,
Because if
a lot of
anything,
people
that's a
don't
bad
think
guy team.
They don't think she's a villain yet, eh? No one
Yeah.
sees her as a villain. She works for the U.S. government and is just building a team.
Yeah.
U.S.
he's-
agent.
exactly.
She got U.S. agent his like pardon as
Yeah.
part of whatever deal, but she doesn't look like a villain yet.
Exactly. So Yelena,
Interesting.
him, Abomination,
Interesting.
like that's the
Interesting.
team right there. in my
Holy
opinion, I think.
shit!
But it's weird that
Holy-
And
Wong
Wong
is
was
involved in-
taking him back to the raft.
But
Well,
if
right.
Wong
Yeah, it
is
looked like
involved
it
in
was
some. Yeah, Wong is involved in
Dude.
some of the oddest things though. So
if Toby, if your idea of like a alternative Avengers team,
the Suicide
that's
Squad,
super
like our
interesting.
version.
Where
Right.
yeah,
That's
where-
what Thunderbolts are going to be.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
gonna-
I know,
it's
I know.
Clearly, they're making.
I
a
just
Thunder-
didn't think Abomination was going to be replacing I didn't see but like Wong is going to be kind of the Doctor Strange for that team, which would be
Exactly.
weird, but maybe there's a reason he
work.
thinks that's what he has to do.
Sure.
That-
Or it
that-
could
that's
just be-
the- Sorry, go on.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go.
I was just saying it could be discarded because the thing is we're always like reading into everything, but you know, if you
True.
actually watch
As
all the
nerds.
movies back to back, you're like, oh, they never followed up on this. Oh, they never
Yeah,
followed up.
yeah.
Oh, they never, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they throw out stuff where they have a general guideline of where it's going.
Yeah. There's
Because that's
you know.
that's the one thing I'm not understanding about, because like Wong was always like, I'm a librarian and stuff. And he's like, oh, I'm gonna take care of the Sanctum. But now you have two movies that it's confirmed that he doesn't give a shit about the Sanctum. One is this,
I'm not gonna say he
And
doesn't
then
give a
the-
shit about the Sanctum.
dude. You're leaving to have a bar fight and train Abomination. You do not care about your job.
Well,
At the end of the
if
day, let's be
Strange
honest
is-
here.
Well, hold on. If Strange is at home, I'm not just gonna sit there waiting
Right.
in a room with a cup of tea being like,
But but if I'm trying to protect the Sanctum, why would I give knowledge to a clear evil? Let's make it clear.
But that's it.
It's not a
We-
secret that Abomination is a.
we don't
bad
know that he's
guy.
evil though.
But he
We don't know
doesn't
that he's
look.
evil anymore.
We don't know, and the fact that
Yeah.
he's calling him a meal, and he's like,
Yeah,
they seem
yeah.
chummy more than anything, actually.
Yeah.
So I don't know. He's calling
you
it.
guys-
he's
that's what
calling
I'm
it by his
saying.
real-
That I need to understand. That's if they
Oh, I
do
would-
skim
I
over
would
things,
say-
skim over
but-
things. But I
but
want to know
like- but like-
Wong's motivation here.
But like Vince said, you may never get that answer.
I
So-
know.
Unless-
that's the threat.
Unless Wong is actually dead and it's actually Mordo this whole time.
No,
Oh my
no.
God.
Taking
Okay,
his
now
stage.
you're-
That's too much.
Like a
That's
Loki
too much.
move.
I'm
You wanna
I'm
reach
throwing
out
out. I'm
to-
throwing out the fishing rod in the middle of the
This
lake.
guy-
Don't
This guy
dislocate your
just-
shoulder, buddy.
This
Don't
guy
dislocate
just
your
can't
shoulder.
accept that Wong can be friends with the Abomination.
I know.
Yeah, yeah.
Wong can have
No,
a life
no.
outside of the sanctum. He should
He
have
could,
a
but
life.
why would he? Why? He's supposed to be a monk. What monk is
Oh
going
my
to
God.
make these underground battle
You know what?
things? Teaching.
I think it may be as simple as we're making the movie for Chinese people. Let's grab all the Chinese characters
Yeah.
and put them in the movie.
Yes.
You know?
My answer to that.
It might be
Trying to
that
be respectful,
simple.
but this is my answer to that. That's I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna try to be
But
like-
it could be that. I kind of think it is that. But anyway,
good say.
What did-
Good say.
what did
It's
you
why
guys
we
think
expected
about,
Sam Jackson to be in Black Panther, and he didn't end up showing up. And some
That's
people were
true.
just
Wait,
like,
you expected that?
"Oh yeah, remember me and Wendell had that huge argument because I was just like, I kind of expected at least to see him once."
right.
And Wendell was just like, "Nah, Sam Jackson can't keep himself calm enough to just be a background actor." And I was just like, "He would if he had to." And then him and I started turning into a yelling match on the podcast
I forgot about that.
because I was just like, "Sam Jackson can do anything," and he's just like, "No, his ego's too big." And it's just like,
Okay, I got a quick question. I got a
Not
question.
true. He takes anything.
Can we talk about some of the random shit that happened in the movie? The
Sure.
first
Sure.
one
Okay.
that I want to talk about is Bruce Banner and Carol Danvers showing up in that mid-credit scene, right?
Oh, sure.
Yes,
Obviously, Captain Marvel, they asked her, "Do you know this tech?" She's like, "It doesn't look like Chitauri or any
Yeah.
other tech that we
Any
know
alien
of."
tech.
And she's like,
Yeah.
"I gotta go, thumbs up." So I guess something with her movie is happening.
yeah.
Then we're left with
Get my number from Bruce.
Bruce,
I don't have her number.
Bruce has my number. Yeah.
First,
and then-
okay, super quick. Does that mean this isn't before Endgame though? This has to be
It's
after
after.
Endgame.
It has to be because
Yeah,
you
it's
see
after
the cast.
and her hair has grown longer.
Yeah.
Oh
Captain
wait,
Marvel.
does he revert back into Bruce after?
So this
he
is what I
snaps?
was gonna talk about.
Okay,
Right. Him and the Hulk made an agreement for the Hulk to be present as well as him that they're gonna share the bond, which
Smart Hulk.
Professor Hulk came out of.
Professor Hulk.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
He hurt his arm when he went to snap,
Yeah.
which obviously looks like it's healing.
Yeah.
But why is he back to Bruce form?
Yeah.
Was this a like?
That's what
Was
I
this
understand.
like we don't have the money for this part of the scene, but we need to inject something? Because I don't expect why wouldn't he be Professor Hulk still?
Yeah, especially since
Maybe
the
Hulk was
heals
tired. You wanted a
faster.
day off.
Yeah, but the Hulk
No.
heals faster. Why
Yeah.
would he intentionally revert to the
back
human
to
who has
Bruce.
whose like multiple bone fractures will take
Right?
forever to heal, where he could stay Professor Hulk and heal way faster? I thought that was weird
So
too. 'Cause
I thought it was might have been a last minute addition and to include because they usually like to include something to set up a next movie, right?
yeah,
So I think it was just like a last minute thing, and they probably there's no budget for it, so they're just like, man, no one's gonna remember.
Oh
kinda
yeah, they really
situation.
didn't have a lot of CG in that movie. They must have.
It's true, right? They're like,
really,
can we do
cutting-
no too many
It was-
lines? Too many lines. We gotta.
We're gonna have a little
we gotta
puppet
cut it.
Hulk, but they're like,
There's-
"That doesn't look
There's
good."
no that's right. There's no real explanation, and I don't think we're gonna get an explanation for this.
But
I don't know why.
To be
but
honest,
it doesn't.
my girlfriend summed up that scene for me very well. She's like, why is Captain Marvel such a bitch? She keeps ditching them when they need her. I'm like, what?
Hey, man, I-
It has
honestly,
to-
Did
it
he turn
be
over
her-
and say because of bad writing?
yeah. I don't think
There's
this is-
earthquakes. There's another thing. I have to go. I
Yeah,
have to go
yeah.
because otherwise I would end the movie if I was here. So,
I am
yeah.
the solution. So you need me in Act 3
you
of the
gotta
next
quickly
movie.
write earthquakes, space
It's also
earthquakes.
why she's never. It's also why she's never worried. She
Yeah.
she feels like she can beat everything and anything. So
Yeah, what's this
there's no
weird
reason.
signal? Don't worry about it. If it actually shows up, I'll come and kick its ass. It's like,
Exactly.
yeah, no, we gotta worry because we don't know how long it'll take you to get back to Earth from wherever the fuck you are. Like,
Last time you did this, it cost us half the planet. So, like, do you mind, like?
her character has the Superman problem, right? How do you
Yeah.
write an interesting
Mhm.
story with
Yeah.
Superman that doesn't involve using kryptonite,
yeah.
or using
Yeah.
Martha's name, I guess. I don't
Did
know.
she have a weakness?
Anyway.
It's
But-
funny
Did she have
how
a
that
weakness in
joke will
her-
never get old, nor
It
will that
won't.
fact never not be annoying to me.
Yeah. Sorry, Toby, hit us.
So
What
I
were you
think
gonna
I mean, obviously the next one is
Sure.
called Marvels, I think is what
Yeah,
they
The
call it.
Marvels, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm maybe her power gets split and she gets weaker so that you can actually have her do stuff and be threatened, because you can't have a hero that's not threatened, right?
I think it's more just the fact that it's going to be her, the other Marvel, Monica Rambeau,
right.
and I mean, but you're right. They have to figure out something, because Thor could actually get hit, and he was the strongest character in their arsenal. Him and Hulk are the strongest two characters. There's a reason that they took them out so that they could do Civil War. They knew that those guys picking sides would have been problematic.
Unbalanced.
Even in the comic book, when Reed Richards creates a robotic Thor, it turns the tide because he ends up killing Giant Man, who's over in the corner there.
Goliath, no? It's Goliath.
Yeah, Goliath. Yeah, or Black Goliath, but whatever. Yeah. But he ends up dying, and that's problematic. That you have these characters that you're like, well, we got to write them out if we want to make the story interesting. So I agree with you with the bad writing there, because Captain Marvel was made OP very early in the franchise, and that's problematic. But
it also might be one of the reasons why they're bringing in characters like the Eternals and whatnot, to be able to bring characters that might have the power to actually fight her.
True.
Or they're villains, at least.
That's that's like the arms race, right? Okay, well, they have more nukes, so let's make more nukes. It's like we got to take the stakes. That's part of why I didn't like Shang-Chi. Again, I wish they'd taken the stakes down. I wish it was not.
I agree with you on that one.
Spoiler alert, I wish there wasn't a giant dragon fight at the end of the movie. What?
You didn't want a dragon fight?
What if it was just
cool.
a kung fu fight with Shang-Chi against somebody else? Put him on a cliff face or whatever,
But it should have been Shang-Chi versus his dad.
Yeah,
and that would have been
I wanted
good
that
ending, because he was the villain the whole way through and through.
Yeah. Because
I
thought that actually kind of wrapped up a little too fast, considering all the buildup that you had. It was just like one little fight, and that wasn't the last fight. I expected it, to be honest.
Yeah.
When the dragons and stuff were coming out, I thought the dad was going to basically go insane and jump on top of one dragon, and he was going to jump on the other dragon. We're going to have this Game of Thrones battle that we wanted this whole time.
Mm-hmm. It should have been both of them versus each other, 100%.
Yeah. Or it should have been like them fighting, and the dragon bout is based off of whatever they're doing in some shape or form. That would have been interesting to see.
That'd be
cool.
What
was that movie where there's this girl who's she scratches her head, and there's this giant monster that also scratches her head?
Anne Hathaway, Jason Sudeikis,
is that
Jack Johnson,
where the monsters live or whatever?
No, but it would be that, right? They'd have these guys
whatever
fighting.
she was doing was happening in Japan.
Yeah, when she went to the sandbox, it was
Anne
Hathaway, Jason Sudeikis.
Colossus.
That sounds
something
right.
like that.
Colossal.
Yeah.
One of those two.
Right. Yeah,
that was a good.
It could have been something like that.
Hit.
Colossal 2016. That's it. Yeah.
Colossal.
Good movie. I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked it.
It was
Sudeikis going dark. Very interesting. I'd never seen him like that.
I never seen this one before.
Go definitely go check it out.
It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah, but I agree with you. You know what? I didn't think about it at the time because I was just so enthralled with a dragon fight. I'm a kid. You show me
same.
You show me dragons fighting. I'm
cool.
Brian reverts back to 10-year-old Brian, just like, whoa! I very much, but I definitely in retrospect, I do get the point you're making that this is one of the things that I'm concerned about with Marvel, that they want to do with Spider-Man, and they want to do with all these other street characters as they move forward. And they have to you don't have to divide the TV shows as the street level stuff and the movies as the big action stuff. Right. You should be able to do street level stuff in a movie and do it well. There's nothing stopping you from doing that. It's more 100%. That you guys just like to be fucking Michael Bay with everything and
massive.
Massive.
You could easily give them their own street level things to deal with. Street level, multi-dimensional level things to deal with. But then when you bring them together, that's when you should go big.
Yeah.
Which is something I guess you're right about. They've since Endgame, they haven't been able to stop themselves.
Yeah,
but that's
big.
But that's because the one thing I'm hoping that Disney doesn't lose, because the first movies, when you're talking about the Thors and the Captain Americas and the Iron Mans and all that type of stuff, every movie had a feel, right? Iron Man was clearly the popular guy. Thor was clearly the magical stuff at one point.
Yeah.
Or godly stuff. Then you had Captain America, which is obviously the spy stuff, right?
Yes.
One thing and the thing is, obviously now, because of such, and let's be honest, a great first 21 movies, the problem with this is now even investors are like, well, if you're going to make one of these Marvel movies, we're expecting this much of like revenue or whatever. And I think they're worried that if we don't follow our, because they have their own formula of how to make movies. Obviously, it's very apparent in Black Widow. If you ask me, like there's way too much comedy in Black Widow, and it's only because it was a Disney formula. But like, as Vincent was saying before, it's like that should have been a Bourne movie. Why did you not make it a Bourne movie?
Right.
This movie, okay, I see what Vince is saying, and I agree. Like, it should have been more a kung fu movie. Although I thought it had a good balance for someone again who had no expectation or whatever. I enjoyed the balance, but I see what you're saying. But I worry that they're going to just be like, no, we have to do this cookie cutter formula because we need to make the money. The actors expect to make this much money if they're going to join on to us. Stakeholders are expected to make this much. The fans expect a certain amount of eye candy, which means we have to invest a certain amount of money, which means we have to make that money back.
At that point, burn it all then. I don't want them to start making movies for investors. That's not why. Yeah. Like when Marvel started making movies, when they made Iron Man, I would like to think that first Iron Man, they weren't thinking, oh, we really hope Paramount's stock goes up because this movie's like, don't get me wrong. Hopefully the stock gets a bump because the movie's fun, but don't make the movie like with the bump in mind.
But I'm saying this is more of an effect, and the cause is the 21 movies.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if you keep bringing up the stakes, every single one, if you keep on bringing up that means the next movie is going to have Palpatine come back and lift an entire army of
right.
Planet.
Yes.
Like, come on, like this. It just you can't just one up yourself constantly. It doesn't make any sense.
And
I was also thinking
problem.
I was also thinking you were talking about street level stuff and Spider-Man and all this kind of thing. I was like, okay, I remember with Mysterio, this giant fight at the end and all this kind of thing.
Yeah.
But my most memorable Spider-Man fight was when he fights the bank robbers who have the Avengers masks on.
Yeah.
That was like the best scene in the Spider-Man like fight scene. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they I don't think they have to go giant thing at the end. I think you can still create something interesting and satisfying for like mainstream regular, not that I'm not mainstream or whatever, but like you can still make a ton of money, I hope, without having to have a spaceship. And
the stakes were high enough with Shang-Chi.
The Amazing Spider-Man type movies were able to do it. Like you guys killed Gwen Stacy and did the death of Gwen Stacy, and that isn't a really super action-packed type comic book, and you guys turned it into a relatively fun movie, and it ended, and I was just like, wow, they did that. They did the death. They did, like, they went there, and I was, I've said it here, I've said it to other people. They always say that Uncle Ben's death is what made Peter Parker be Spider-Man. Gwen Stacy's death is what made Spider-Man be a superhero. Like that's when he realized, I need to be a hero, not just a guy in a suit. And they did that. And that's one of the reasons I was kind of secretly, I was hoping that Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man was going to continue, because you introduced Rhino at the end. You gave us the death. You made him the hero. And then we're like, we're going to stop so that Marvel can make movies over here. And fine, it worked out well. Tom Holland's done a decent job. But like Vincent's saying, those movies just get bigger and bigger. So you went from Spider-Man being the street guy, which even in his first movie, when he gets stripped of his suit and he goes back to the regular suit and he goes to and Vulture crushes him in a building, that was a Spider-Man scene.
Right.
Vulture crushing Peter Parker in a building and him realizing he might die and needing to figure out what to do. That's Spider-Man. And then, the next movie, I agree. It's true. The next movie is, illusions and it's huge monsters and a Ferris wheel.
But that was the one thing about that, though, is that it at least kept true to the Spider-Man lore, right? Because that's what Mysterio does. Like that, like I understand, because like you guys are saying that was a grandioso a little bit, and I agree, it was grandioso, but in reality, it's not. He's all he's doing is really fighting a bunch of.
No, but the point is, they went from Vulture crushing him in a building immediately to Mysterio giving us this, you know,
Thousands of drones.
thousands of drones, and Tony leaving him the glasses so that he now has this tech, and you know, Happy has to show up in a private jet to come. Like, you went from a kid who didn't know anybody like that to a kid who has a private jet on call. Again, not that it's a negative, but it's those leaps that make it, where the fuck do you go next? Because this next movie coming out, which is what I've been complaining about, where everyone's just like Garfield, Toby, Doc Ock, Goblin, Electro, like Matt Murdock, like the list is so long for what we're expecting for a street level hero to deal with, that it's just like, fuck, man, I don't want so much.
Although I'm actually really looking forward to that movie. I guess I just contradicted myself.
I'm looking forward to seeing how they do it. Because remember,
because we all like Spider-Man, man. Spider-Man just holds a piece of everyone's heart.
Remember when we talked about Daredevil that season and they were adding Punisher, they were adding Elektra, and I kept saying, I'm really worried. And then they managed to do it in arcs and they did a very good job. Yeah, I'm similarly concerned about what this movie's going to do. And if they can manage to do it in somewhat relatively like segmented scene, like
I was going to say, I thought you were going to say succinct. I was like, the movie's 2 hours and 37 minutes long, apparently.
No, for me, it's going to be, there's going to be so like, it's going to be like 4 or 5 acts like at this point where,
but you know, I just thought, like, with all these great Disney Plus series, like if they made a Spider-Man 8-episode TV show,
oh my god, it could be amazing, but they won't because he's too big.
Like, that would be, I was about to say there's no way.
How expensive would that
no,
be?
Of course they're not going to, but like I don't know how you guys feel about the TV shows, but I've more or less enjoyed them so far. And like it gives a chance to actually develop characters and develop storylines that if they are massive, it builds up to them, and not just like, you know, okay, now these 2 mystical beings from whatever are going to kill each. Like, it can build up to that moment instead of just that's what happens, you know.
Are you guys concerned though? So I'm going to talk about full on the post credit scene now. When you guys saw that post-credit scene, and I think, Toby, you said it too, were you disappointed that this felt like, oh, they're giving us a Disney Plus nod and not another movie nod?
Yeah.
That announcement that the 10 rings will be back.
Oh,
did not come across to me as like, we're going to get another movie about the 10 rings. Because again, that would be cool, but how would you make a movie about the 10 rings?
But if they are going to do a TV
show, they didn't get rid of the 10 rings.
Oh no, agreed.
I like that too.
I think it's great. But you know what's funny? I didn't need that post-credit scene to know the sister wasn't going to go and actually shut stuff down. The sister ran an illegal club in Macau and now has the opportunity to have the 10 rings. And like Shang was just like, yeah, my sister went back and she's shutting down. I was like, you wish, motherfucker. Are you crazy?
Yeah,
why would I shut down a 1,000-year built empire with millions of dollars and a huge team of soldiers at my disposal?
That she wanted, by the way.
Yeah.
Like she's like, I built this empire. Okay, well, now that we ruined your empire, there's this free empire here that's even bigger. Exactly. I'm gonna shut that down. Go have vacation, enjoy your friend. Like, you know, it's like, you know, when someone dies and you get your will, and the brother's like, oh, I'm gonna opt out of this will. She's like, okay, I'll just take it all. Like, it's so dumb.
It's unrealistic that he thought she, like, what you thought you made her a better. You still abandoned her. She still had to grow up in a tough situation. Can you imagine being a 16-year-old woman on the streets by yourself, no one at your back, and then starting a fight club to be like, well, this is how I'm going to start it off, and then you rise to you build an empire. She's not gonna fuck around. So the 10 rings coming back, cool. Is it coming back as a Disney Plus show? That's my thing. I think
it will be a Disney Plus show. I don't think it'll be a movie, because I feel like it'll be more of like one of those like a what if it's where like you see like the Octagon is still something like that, underground fighting is still a thing, and it becomes more about that, like a TV show about like these random heroes, like street level, like we might see the X-Men or something like coming through and fighting in the circuit because they're in hiding. You know what I mean?
I'd be down, but my concern is that last scene we saw looks more like a nod to the Hand. Like it looked very Hand-esque in like she's developing.
Sure.
and like
No,
this
I don't think she'll be
secret.
evil.
No, I'm not saying it's the hand. I'm just saying they don't have the hand now, right? In the MCU.
No.
So
If we're
in the
not
meantime,
acknowledging anything that happened on Netflix.
exactly. So in the meantime, what's the quickest way to do that? Oh, well, we're not going to have the hand, but let's introduce in the 10 rings this hand light version.
Yeah.
The 10 Rings has an organization. They have soldiers. They're secret. And
I
the history
forget
is
who the
same.
hand is because I just remember. I was
hand
like,
is,
isn't it the foot? Oh wait, no, that's the parody from the Teenage Mutant Ninja
Yeah.
Turtles.
It's the
Daredevil.
assassin group
Yeah.
that Daredevil fights.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the
Gotcha,
reason I
gotcha.
say that is because the history that Wen gives us of his organization is we went in, we assassinated people, we've like it sounds very hand-esque in like we have been planted in different parts of the world throughout the history, slowly manipulating situations. So either these guys are hand-esque or they're going to be competition for the hand when we eventually get the hand.
Yeah.
Either way, in the meantime, I would be down for a Fight Club type show, but I feel like what we saw at the end was very much, look at this cool new hand, graffiti on the wall, y'all.
Yeah.
We're getting.
Right.
I was just like,
Yeah.
okay.
No, I think she's going to end up being an anti-hero or an anti-villain. I think she's going to step the line because I feel that her, like the sister as a character, especially with what you've seen, I think she's going to be this one person like, yeah, I'll help out. But if you try and cost me a single part of my empire, fuck you.
Yeah, I can see that. I don't know if she's gonna get as involved in like political stuff where she's gonna send assassins, but I can see what you're saying. Ultimately, Vincent, would you say you wouldn't recommend the movie to people? Are you that? No, because we always say at the end
Sure.
of a review.
Yeah, I mean, I look, if I don't think it's the worst Marvel movie that's ever come out or anything like that.
Iron Man 3.
Thor 2.
Well, I think it's better than Black Widow. It's Iron Man 3 was the one with the Mandarin, or was
the one with the Mandarin.
Yeah.
I hate it so much because of what they did with the Mandarin. Like I've always been transparent about this.
They explained it away.
Yeah, and I'm in the minority on that, but I really liked what they did with the Mandarin. Like I know that it's this iconic character and all this kind of thing, but I thought the way they subverted expectations was actually a good way to subvert expectations. But I get it, especially if you're a fan of the character. You're like, oh man, they just ruined it.
The worst part is I was not even a fan of the character. I just think Ben Kingsley would have done an amazing job as the original
Just
Mandarin.
as
and the thing that I hated was that Tony Stark, especially at that point in the storytelling, he was like, magic's bullshit. So I'm like, him fighting someone who's magical.
Right.
Like it's just like the comic books, right? The point is he has science which goes against magic, and you just and now he's dead in the thing, so you can't even do it anymore.
You saw so much potential in that in a comics accurate mashup or match up, I mean.
Yeah.
And then it was like ruined or whatever. But yeah, in terms of this movie, I mean, I would tell people, you can skip it. Like I don't.
Oh damn!
I wasn't that crazy, but like I got bored halfway through. At some point, I was just like, man, again, these freaking like 2+ hour movies. Like,
true,
this could have been an hour and a half.
Yeah.
They could have
cut. Yeah, the Marvel's thing of making the movies longer and you don't have to make the movies longer. No one's. I don't know why you're doing that. No one's requesting it. If like. If the time it takes you to tell the story takes you to tell the story, I get it. But if I watch the movie and I'm like, okay, you could cut 2 minutes here, this here, this here, like these are genuinely scenes that did not need to be this long, and not because I'm saying that because I'm being weird or I'm trying to tell you have to cut it down. The scene itself, when I watch it, I don't understand why there's that much extra.
Right.
And if you cut all those little extras, you're cutting it down, you could fit it into 2 hours.
Yeah. I would also say like the things that there's some things I like about it, but they're pretty much this movie's playing in our household nonstop. But somewhat, I think the day after that we watched Shang-Chi, I saw rewatched bits of Hero, which was a Jet Li movie in the early 2000s or something like that. And there was a few other, what was the other thing? I think I was watching, there was a little bits of Crouching Tiger and whatever, some stuff like that. I'm like, man, all of these movies are way better than Shang-Chi. If we want to put them in some kind of similar category or whatever,
you put them in that category.
Yeah, and like for me, like I really enjoyed Black Panther. I thought that was like it's not a perfect movie, of course. Like the 2 CGI Black Panthers fighting at the end is fucking stupid. Like there's tons of problems with it, sure, but it was a movie that went beyond just being a movie, right?
Yeah.
It did a great job at world building.
Yes, and it did a great job of world building. There was so many good things about it. So part of me was like, this is going to be quote unquote our Black Panther. You know what I mean? Like I was hoping, and it's like, not
I
really.
get it. I get it.
It really wasn't.
Wow. I actually get it from that perspective. Just looking at it, I'm like, yeah.
I mean,
I'm
excited for the mythical stuff that they're going to introduce, though, because Talo,
right,
mythical.
Because all the mythic cities, like we know now, Iron Fist has to exist because they've introduced that the mythic cities exist and they're secrets, and you can't just get to them. You have to know how to get to them, or So I don't know about Danny Rand showing up, but I know that it exists.
I'm just hoping that the next movie isn't going to be like Iron Man 2, in the sense of like, if they bring what's the character's name? If his like next bad guy is like Fing Fang Foom or whatever that huge dragon is in Marvel or whatever, like they just don't do something like that.
God, I can't expect them to do Fing Fang Foom. That's one character that I feel like they know they probably couldn't do.
I was worried in the commercial when you saw the dragon underwater for 2 seconds because you don't see the real colors. I was like, no, please don't. Please don't.
Wow. No, I never thought it was. But yeah, I guess that's interesting.
Also, this movie was inspired by Kung Fu Hustle, by the way. There was obviously a poster in his room of Kung Fu Hustle. There were some scenes that alluded to Kung Fu Hustle. The way they use the rings, there's a character in Kung Fu Hustle that fights with the rings around his forearms, like the rings.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
So why don't we talk about influences? Like there's so many
God.
obviously like you said, Kung Fu Hustle. There's the bus fight with the momentary like one take thing that's very Old Boy, where he's fighting from left, left or whatever. The fighting on the scaffolding, all that. Actually, this comes back again to stuff I don't like, but anyway, because my thing about that is like all those movies that did those things are all way better than this movie.
And
those scenes are all way better than like the thing about that bus fight, which is probably the best fight scene in the movie, subjectively speaking, is it's not anywhere near as tense as the one in Old Boy because it's all CGI'd up. So it's like it's not even AI. They got like a AI guy like doing the moves. Like I want to see if it's a kung fu movie, I want to see kung fu, So anyway,
I get it. You're right. It was more of a mashup of things you've seen before.
I was gonna say
in that aspect versus actually doing something new. I see that.
Sure.
I can see that.
I mean, I'm okay with Clin Days. Like I'm okay with that. But it just was like it just reminded me of like, oh yeah, that scene was better in the movie that's from.
Every fight scene was a homage to something else that already existed. Versus trying to be its own thing. No, you're right. Actually, no.
And that's 100%. Something we've always said on the show. Toby and I always say it. If you're gonna do something, you have to do it better. And in this case, they didn't do it better. And I mean, again, for me, it was more just I was just excited to see. And Toby, you had said it originally. We were just excited to see martial arts because so far the MCU is very much just people who don't know how to fight, who just
I think Black Panther was the closest we got to some kind of fighting style.
Yes, but every other movie has just been like, I just so happen to be big and I punch really hard. Like
or I'm really strong and I have
Captain
a serum or whatever.
Character. Captain America is a really fun character. Black Widow uses like the training, so she has
Widow style.
Like there's kind of like
there was a Widow in this movie too, randomly.
Well, so here's the thing, right? We were talking about Black Widow being over the top. Like I was just thinking as we were talking about this, imagine the MCU did a Batman movie. Would it have a giant crazy fucking end of the world thing at the end?
Would there be so much comedy in it?
Would there be so much comedy movie, which I'm not necessarily against. You can make that work, But like in a way, Black Widow was the MCU's like Batman-ish character and story.
The spy side,
and it's like,
for sure,
man, like I would much prefer again a toned down, like
and the
her
only time
beating up other people is cool. That's cool.
But but I wonder if they're also like pigeonholing themselves in these grandiose stories because, like, example, Kevin Feige was interviewed recently. He's like, look, we're gonna have a couple of movies that there's not a buildup, but if you don't think that the last two movies had some type of buildup or something towards whatever angle we're gonna do in the future, you're wrong. Like, he's already said that the movies are leading to tidbits, and the most blatant one was this one that said, "What's that signal that got sent out?" Now, I don't want to be like, is it going to just be the Dark Avengers? Is it just going to be Thunderbolts? That's this overall story arc. Is it be kind of a cop out just to do one versus the other? But I don't know.
God, I hope not.
It's going to be a big bad. It could even be Galactus for all we know. If it's sending a beacon to something out like in the far
well, I mean,
depths of
if it's Fantastic Four based and they're not going to introduce the X-Men, I would say that it's going to be Galactus.
Well,
ooh, interesting.
And we might not see whatever this thing is at the end of this phase, right? That's the thing. It could be two phases from now.
And if it's Galactus, and if Marvel does a big cloud as his head, and that's it, then I'm just not watching movies anymore.
It wasn't a cloud. It wasn't a cloud. It was just the signal was
Toby, do not defend any Fantastic Four film ever to date. Because the best one is the one from the 1990s, and they got a poodle arm, a noodle arm to say goodbye. Like,
no,
the Roger Corman one I haven't seen, but I heard it's great.
Lord have mercy. He swears by it. It's this fucking weird thing he always
loves it.
It's a movie that is so. It is the Trolls 2 of comic book movies.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
Lord save
I mean,
us.
there's
Now
something about
now
like
you're just trolling.
it's
Yeah,
a different,
Straight I am. Damn, straight I
a
am.
different category, you know. Yeah.
It's a bad, funny movie because it's so fucking bad.
I think ultimately, I think the phases that we've seen, like we mentioned it, we have the huge blockbuster Marvel movies, we have the spy movies, we have the we have the magic movies, and I think they're trying to figure out a way, like Spider-Man with Doctor Strange is them trying to figure out how to cross it over. The street level stuff is going to end up being a lot of Disney Plus, and I don't know if I love those divisions happening, or like a division this way with the TV stuff. You know, all the post-credit scenes starting to feel like they're setups for more subscriptions. That's something that bothers me. You know, the end of Black Widow was very much a nod to, this is going to be in Hawkeye. Make sure you guys start paying attention to this, because that, and then that last scene where the 10 rings, this is going to be something. Someone's going to interact with this, probably Disney Plus, because we haven't mentioned any films, and it'd be weird for us to say it'll be back. And then, you know, but we haven't even talked about, for God's sakes, when Falcon Winter Soldier ended, they announced that day Captain America 4 was coming. So it's just weird when they, like, you plant seeds for some things here, some things are already done deals that are in the works. So I don't know. I'm wondering where we're going to go with this. Ultimately, Shang-Chi, I think, you know, aside from Vincent, who said he enjoyed it, but it's something you could wait to see. You could wait to see it on Disney Plus, is what you're saying. You don't need to see it in theaters.
Yeah. Look, I didn't hate it.
No, I know. I'm not. Yeah.
But it was.
Just, I did not like it to the level that some of us did.
It's not worth paying.
Definitely not. Yeah. I mean, if somebody said, "Oh yeah, this movie should I see?" I'm like, "Nah, wait till it comes out on Netflix." Like, whatever.
Yeah.
You know,
it's not like a must see. Like, example, when you see Captain America or Iron Man 1 for the first time, and someone asks you about that movie, you're like, "I'll go see it with you like right now," because it was that impactful, right?
Yeah.
Although I don't know about the first Captain America, but definitely the one with Emile Zola.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it, but
I liked the first one a lot. I thought it was a very good
but I did.
It wasn't terrible.
Yeah, I would have been okay if I saw that on Netflix, but saw like the Winter Soldier. That's
exactly
that needed theater.
That's a great
like
movie.
That shit was good. Yeah. Elevator fights, jumping out of a motorcycle, Black Widow being that sexy ass spy where she's being full on like spy, like that was fun.
Black Widow actually kind of stole the ending of that movie.
Oh,
because it's another thing.
I won't start this debate again, but to this day, I don't think Captain America had a trilogy. I think every movie in it.
Oh no, it's not.
He had his first movie. The second movie is
they're all Avengers movies.
Well, they're buddy cops, and then the last one's Avengers. You know, but some people argue with me because when I say, some people are just like, well, who had the better trilogy, Nolan's Batman or Captain America? I'm just like, but Captain America's not a trilogy, so I can't even compare it. And then they get mad. So, anyways,
well, Captain America: Civil War was a better Avengers movie than some of the other
Ultron.
Avenger movies, right?
Yeah,
Age of Ultron.
easily better than Age of Ultron. Easily. Yeah.
Easily, without challenge.
Guys, we won't even do geek news and rumors. We'll just tell you guys they moved up Venom to October 1st. So it was originally September. It was obviously the other dates before, but it got moved to September 24th, then October 15th, and then back up to October 1st. A lot of people are saying this is due to the success of Shang-Chi and the 10 Rings, because this is, and I mean, Disney is going to have a lot of things to answer for. They're going to end up having to pay out to Scarlett Johansson because day and date, Shang-Chi is on par to kick ass and broke records for Labor Day weekend. Very close. Black Widow made more money in its first 3 days than Shang-Chi did, but Labor Day, the Monday, really helped them. The thing that's really going to be telling is what it does on its second weekend, which we're going to see this coming weekend. I don't see it dropping so easily. There's not really major.
Not till they see my review on this podcast.
Single-handedly kills the flow.
Why would I want to kill the first Asian? Anyway, whatever. Oh, sorry.
It's okay. There's a lot of people who hated on a lot of black people.
I'm a self-hating Chinese. That's what I am.
Yeah, on Black Panther. But you did recommend Nora from Queens.
It's amazing. Nora from Queens is great. Yeah.
So, even if you throw some shade that way, you're still recommending other awesome Asian content that I too actually do want to check out. And then the other thing that is nerd related ish, it's more because we all love Childish Gambino. Phoebe Waller-Bridge has walked away from the Mr. and Mrs. Smith project that was going to happen that's happening at Amazon. A little sad to hear that because Phoebe Waller-Bridge is excellent writer, and the idea of her working with Donald Glover sounded fantastic. And the sad idea that she left the project because of creative differences concerns me. But we'll see, guys. We'll see. Vincent, tell the people, man. I know you guys have been popping up in places, but what else do you got going on, man, in the next little bit? What should people be checking out for Urban Science and for you specifically?
Sure. I mean, it's been a very difficult year for musicians, obviously.
Of course.
But Nora's Hard AF, absolutely. It's great. Yeah, we have some stuff coming up. We always have stuff coming up. We actually are going to be doing a sort of tour of CHSLDs and youth centers next week. So those are not really public performances, but I've been wanting to kind of give something back to healthcare workers in the CHSLDs that have been really badly hit, and so we're going to be putting that together for next week. And we're also performing at Hip Hop You Don't Stop in NDG on the 16th, which I think is Thursday, which is the opening of that festival. And actually, I think we can't say the location for COVID reasons or whatever, and we will have some stuff that we can't yet announce, but will be coming up in mid-October and late October. So since I can't talk about it, I'll say,
but
I'll say nothing more.
People can check out the website, right? Because I guess
absolutely. Urban Science, herbside.com. I see it on the stream at Herbside BB for the brass band. And for those who don't know, it's a hip hop brass band mixing up hip hop with New Orleans style brass bands. And Lucifer is our pre-pandemic Thursday night jam session, hip hop jam session with a live band, which of course has not happened since March 2020. So
I'm a big fan of brass, especially like hip hop songs with like big like trumpet, those are like the victorious tracks,
Yes. Exactly.
I love those.
Yeah. So come check us out sometime.
Dope, man. Thank you so much for coming through. I appreciate
Thanks for having me.
You and I were talking in DMs about the film, and you said you had some thoughts, and I was just like, yeah, man, come on the show, because
I saw the movie and I immediately wrote Brian. It's like, are you guys going to be talking about this? Because I got shit to say.
But your points were like just seeing it from that perspective of like it was touted as the Black Panther for this section of the world, and I could see how it was underwhelming in that regard.
Yeah,
for sure. Going in with that expectation, it wasn't a big world building. You had moments, but it wasn't like this is our world. Welcome to it.
No, and it was
not
world
introduction, not world building.
Right.
Yes.
And it's not fair to put it on this like it's a movie that's gonna like change the world. Like, come on,
Right,
come
right.
on.
Yeah.
Like, so maybe my expectations were a little high. But even aside from that, I was just a little bored. So
I get it.
anyway.
All views welcome. That's
But you're wrong.
if I truly felt that way, or we truly felt that way, we would definitely let you know if you were wrong or not.
Oh yeah. If you hadn't
There
brought
would
up
be an
valid
argument.
points, we would have been.
Yeah.
I would have been ripping into you. These guys know.
sure.
Whenever
Trust
I
me.
don't-
Brian has no shame.
Yeah, when I don't agree, I attack people. But all the points you made were very fair and valid points.
Yeah, 100%.
So, guys, that's it. That's all. That's
But
the
wait,
whole show.
you wouldn't recommend, right? You said
I would
this is a
recommend,
pass
yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
I would recommend. Well,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, I think so. I
See,
would.
now
I would recommend for someone without any expectation.
Okay.
Comic
Cool.
book fans or people from certain backgrounds, maybe you might have certain letdowns. That's what I would say, because I don't have those expectations to be let
It
down.
makes sense. It makes sense. You didn't really follow Shang-Chi, so you didn't know what to expect, and you're just like, let me see what happens here. I get it. That's true.
Yeah.
And you, Vince?
Well, you know what? I know some Asian friends of mine that are seeing it for like the second or third time, so it can have the opposite effect, where you're just like, I'm down with this. I want to support this. I want to see it more. So yeah. And of course, there's also just difference of opinion. They may have legitimately liked the movie. It's that is possible. That is possible.
They go to the movie theater the second time to like throw tomatoes at the screen.
Exactly.
Like, no.
Alrighty.
Damn. All right, kids. So I don't know why all of a sudden someone decided to ring my doorbell at 8:30 at night. This is what happens when you live in a city where people just do whatever they want.
It wasn't somebody coming to your studio with a gun.
Good Lord.
Did you see that Evan Preach thing? I don't know if you guys.
What?
followed that.
What?
Oh, it wasn't at them. It was they had. Some
Oh
beef with
yes,
another
this other
YouTuber.
guy who showed up,
Yeah,
and then
the
the
former
guy that
business partner of the guy showed
Yeah.
up. It's fucking
So this guy
ridiculous.
showed up at some guy's studio, and when the guy got to the studio, they had a little conversation. But the dude who owned the studio started saying that Abba and Preach were part
Like
of this and
sending
like
goons
sent
or
him
something.
there. And
Yeah,
and then the guy wrote in the comments just like, "Don't worry, no one sent me there. I just don't fucking like you." Like,
exactly.
Hey.
oh my god.
Yeah.
Anyways, this is the crazy city that we live in. Montreal, we love you. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you guys are listening from anywhere else in the world, we love y'all too. We appreciate you guys, especially all the places. When I look at the stats and see all the random places that some of y'all tune in from, I appreciate it all over the world, which is pretty fucking cool. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. That's the whole show. We had an amazing time as usual.
Mhm.
Vincent, thank you so much for coming through. I appreciate you jumping on. This was a great conversation. Guys, we'll be back next week with another one like we always do, right?
Yes, sir.
Anything you guys want to tell the people? That's pretty much it. We're
Stay
signing out.
safe. Stay sane.
Donda
Wow.
versus CLB. They both failed. It was a waste of our time. There you go. That's our final comment. We out, y'all. Peace.
Dudes.
Oh.